Hello, everybody, and welcome to Golden Gate City. We are live from San Francisco, California, the beautiful San Francisco, and of course, at the EA campus, Redwoods, where we have some of the best Apex Legends actions you have ever seen. Of course, we've had some great online tournaments, but now it is time for the season, the real deal, and we are live in studio for the very first time. Fallout here, joined alongside some great minds and individuals in the Apex Legends scene. We got Bravo, the voice of Apex, Lulu, the rager of Apex. I'm just kidding. The great streamer at Apex, and of course, Rain Day himself. How y'all doing today?
Great. I mean, I'm excited to be here, but I'm even more excited to see this gameplay.
You and I both. It is the first online qualifier in North America that we'll be breaking down today. There's been a lot of great action in Europe and Asia Pacific, and of course, North America is the last one we'll see. Rain Day, it's been a long road. What has stuck out to you the most?
What stuck out is I didn't get an actual name. He got the voice. She got the rager.
There was no title.
Me myself.
Would you rather be a rager, or would you rather
figure out what he's implying by that? And I'm now going to answer your question. North America, I think, is going to be fun to watch. We got great teams, and in fact, we have a team you're very familiar with, back-to-back champions, and I think when you look at that and the amount of history that can continue or be usurped here by some new faces that we should keep an eye on, this is probably going to be one of the most exciting Apex moments for competitive that we've had all year.
And Bravo, I know I've been watching you refreshing your Twitter feed at least every 5 minutes, keeping up with the action all weekend. What stood out to you?
Yeah, and you kind of had to, right? Because this, you can kind of feel, whether you're watching your stream, whether you're kind of checking out everyone's reactions on Twitter, that this really is kind of the kickoff. There's been a lot of tournaments so far. There's been hundreds of thousands of prize money awarded for Apex, but it feels like here with the Global Series that things are really kicking off now, and it's an exciting time for Apex fans.
Yeah, undoubtedly it is. Of course, we've had some great action all weekend long. Let's break down the action and see how the road was to get here. Yesterday, North America competed in an online qualifier series. Matches were played, 3 matches per round for up to 5 rounds. It was a single elimination tournament. So, of course, EA's competitive gaming team did it again with an awesome single elimination format in a battle royale. Of course, that leads to today. 5 matches total from the top 20 teams that made it out of the 600-plus team bracket. It's crazy to think how much Apex has been played the last couple of days. Teams, of course, will earn their points by getting kills or placement. And guess what? The teams with the top 5 finishes will get their trips paid for to the first Apex Major. All 20 teams, of course, are invited to that major, so you almost get the sense that this is the beginning of something great.
I mean, they already have something to be excited for. Just they made it. They're going to Texas, but there's still, like you said, it could be paid for. They could earn that trip for free.
That's huge. That's massive.
Especially for free agents that they might not have an org to pay for that.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of players competing from Europe as well, so that's a huge trip. They made the personal investment to fly to the United States to play within this region. Hopefully it pays off for them. But let's take a look at how the points breakdown is going to be today for our matches. Of course, you all know the familiar format, 1 point per kill. So you do get rewarded for playing aggressive. In addition to that, you get points per placement as well. First place nets you 12 points, down 3 to 9 for second place, then down 2, all the way to 5 for fourth place. Then you go down all the way by 1 until 16th place, which still gets you 1 point. But you got to think 16th place is not enough. That 1 point is not enough.
No, we talk about it. Aggressiveness is kind of the name of the game for NA, and it's now going to be a deciding factor in really how you place, because we're not just talking about, wow, they placed 18th. We're talking about they didn't have time to get kills. One team wipe, one fight won is as good as placing 6th in this tournament. So the priority on kills, the priority on executing, and then being sneaky. It doesn't mean you have to fight that person to get the kill. You can ping something off with scouts in the game right now. It's a pretty dangerous but really exciting way to earn points.
Bro, I know we've seen a lot of edge aggression versus what we saw last season or in the preseason, people playing for center circle. What's been the difference in gameplay here?
I'd say the biggest difference in gameplay that we're going to have the opportunity to highlight all day is going to be the fact that we actually have some comp variety. We started to see it at GLL. Obviously, the Gibby buffs, not just the first set of buffs, but the second set of buffs too. Third set of buffs now. Gibby's had some buffs.
6th,
And we're starting now. What's kind of cool for me as a fan of the game is now when you watch scrims, you hear some really cool communication that you did not hear in Apex at all. Things like there's a path team ahead of us, right? Gibby team towards the east side of Cap City. You're specifically hearing callouts of different meta shifting, so you kind of feel like this is the beginning of actual different meta and different comps in the games. And based off of the teas we've got so far, hopefully we're going to have some more interesting comps.
It's just season 3, by the way. We got season 4 right around the corner. Well, we got Bravo, we got Lulu, we got the best dressed man in all of
Apex.
It's Rain Day.
I'll take it.
For us on the couch, let's go ahead and throw it over to the wonderful casters. It's Golden Boy and Dreadnought. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And yes, I'm excited for this game. We're excited to jump into it, folks, because this is the Apex Legends Global Series online qualifier for North America. I'm Golden Boy. This is Dreadnought. And, you know, we got to give a big shout out to our Zara catalog analyst there, and Lulu on the desk for really breaking it all down and looking good in the process. But here we go, folks. It's time to jump into the game, and let's see. Let's start off with some spice, some picante, if you will, with Sentinels. I like kicking it off with these guys, Dread.
Yeah, one of the more aggressive teams in North America, but one thing we must consider is the fact that they did not thrive when it came to the qualifiers as much as we would expect for a roster as big as this. That being said, other names struggled far harder than that of Sentinels because some of the best teams that we know are not even among us here. So Sentinels clearly trying to continue the claim as to why they are one of the best here, but also Team Fire, a team that has actually been looking for traction on social media, hitting up some of the talent, talking about how we are undervaluing them, and they proved it by qualifying and representing here for North America.
Well, what's a way to get recognized, right? You can go and yell at the top of a mountain, tell everyone that no one's paying attention to you, but once you get to this point, then obviously we can't ignore you anymore. And that's exactly what Fire has done here, playing in Capital City right now, just looting up and grabbing what they can as they get ready and prepare for where this ring is going to go. And that can tell and dictate how this game is going to conclude. And with that Pathfinder, you can now be able to, like always, be able to tell where that next ring is going to be, just as they did right there. This is already looking like they want to continue to hold it in Capital City, Dread.
Yeah, a couple pings going down, though, so at least indicating some interest towards the future. You know, the small kind of perspective we get there in the top left of what we get from the Pathfinder indicates it's going to be somewhere near Epicenter, maybe a little bit to the western side there. I'm sure as, you know, rounds move on, we will get a better understanding here, but a bit of action is it's going to be Rocker finding a tango there on the second floor, losing his shielding. Looks like he's going to go and drop back here for the rest of the ranks.
And this is Team Squidward, a squad that I think a lot of people really have on their radar, but Naffin's going to go down, low HP. Lou's going to be out of this one as well, but there comes Rocker in for the save, and they're able to pick up those kills and pick up his teammates.
Yeah, and as you said there, Team Squidward being one of the better teams, actually the highest seeded team coming into today, some of the best performances in the qualifiers, and it's nice to see, you know, Lou showing that he still has what it takes. They're moving on beyond FlyQuest as they've kind of gone each in their own direction, but a team that has remained constant is that of TSM as they find their way here in the outskirts of Capital City, looking for a very early transition there, Golden Boy.
Yeah, there are only three things that are constant in this life. It's going to be death, taxes, and TSM winning major events. Because so far, nothing else has changed. They've given us no indication that they are going to be slowing down. They have continued to remain at the top of the mountain for a very, very long time. And Aberleli's going to find one in front of him. That's going to be a G7 Scout, that very powerful weapon that these players are going to take advantage of. A few shots there just to put the fear in him and let him know that TSM is here to box.
Yeah, but the accuracy already displayed there by Aberleli, how fast he was able to find both targets, pressure them, and ease up the breathing room necessary for this rotation, again, shows the kind of class of play we expect out of TSM.
It's the little details, man. He threw those shots down, cracked the shield. That guy has to go back. They're not going to be dealing with them anymore. They could just keep on their merry way all the way up to Epicenter and get ready for this next ring.
The Epicenter ring, though, if it is in fact going to be the final one, sitting on the outskirts just towards the southwestern end of Epicenter, is very difficult to be able to hold because of all those icebergs that sit and split your approach towards the Epicenter. We'll figure out if that in fact is going to be it, as we are only 10 seconds out from the closing section of round number one. But back with Fire with their transition, maybe found themselves TSM as they were making their way over to that Epicenter.
Also like the little bit of movement there from Fire. I think those were shots that were coming from behind, if I'm correct.
Great.
And I like and I appreciate how Bert was not exposing the head there and just turning his back, you know, turning around. It's little details like that, right? Not denying anyone the ability to get a headshot. Small details that players can do to take advantage, and the movement in the game allows you to do that.
With the transition up, though, on the zip from Fire, even though I really like it, it's so early in the game that it's also a problem in the fact that, you know, a grapple, Pathfinder's the only one who gets the advantage out of that. A zip line, not only your team gets the advantage, but so does the enemy. It creates an access point that even a Pathfinder-less composition suddenly has now access to there. So we'll see how they end up defending, as there are a lot of people making that rotation. Sentinels, in fact, being one of them, as they make a pit stop here in Capital City.
I wonder what we're going to see as far as these weapon compositions that players are going to run. A lot of scouts, obviously. Wingman, obviously. And you got teams sometimes, we've discussed in great detail, teams sometimes running 3 scouts, right?
Yeah.
Just
the
heavy,
G21 meta.
Yeah, heavy on that weapon because, it's just a very, very strong gun. But then you also need someone to handle the action in the close range, right? The PK, the Peacekeepers, the R99s. You need a little bit of, the razzle-dazzle, if you will.
And, we heard the analyst desk, I believe, talking about at one point some of the ammunition situation just between the G7 Scout and, in fact, the R99. And whenever you have so many G7 Scouts, the ammunition and the R99 is very high on the light demand. So I actually like talking about those weapon pairings. Very cost-effective. And when I say cost-effective, it's how much inventory it takes to be effective with a weapon. Things like the Wingman are very, very good at that in a different weapon category. So I think that's part of the reason we might see a rise of Wingman here at our tournament for North America.
That was Aqualix that was putting down shots there on Sentinels, forcing Sentinels to have to go back, but they're going to be taking shots of their own, and Ray Rain, he's going to be dropping down, needs to be careful and just heal up here for the time being. I do want to make note that while we were talking about what the weaponry we were going to see from these players, they were also really focused, Sentinels, on getting behind Epicenter. Epicenter with that high ground, you pop a G7 Scout up above, oh boy, you are cooking, baby. You
make
might
it
as
rain.
well be a chef in the kitchen.
Yeah, very much so there. And this is actually interesting decisions coming out from Aqualix here, and the fact that they have made the transition down. I want to know what the Wraith decision here is going to be. The portal's laid down, and I think they're going to test the waters to see if this entryway is actually safe. And if it is not, they're going to reverse portal back and then take the other direction. Very clever play here from Aqualix, understanding the macro sense of early rounds very, very well, and doing as much research as possible.
Yeah, and you can take that damage, right? It's okay if you get tagged up a little bit outside of the ring because you're not going to be getting chunked for all that much health. So they have to make that decision. This is going to be a very wide rotation. Then we jump over to the other side here. You got only one mini along with Smile and Moose and Flower. They're in the tunnels currently. So they're just running out and getting into that safe area here. The loadout, Wingman, Peacekeeper, the tried and true combination of competitive Apex players everywhere. Also running the Watson, Gibraltar, Gibby, who the analysts have talked about extensively, getting just so much love, which I'm okay with. He's a great guy.
He is a great dude, and the bubble is only getting better with every patch of heals. Between the healing increase into the resurrection increase that we see here on the current patch that we are playing on today, he is definitely a force to be reckoned with and replacing often, as you've highlighted there, the common Pathfinder of old. But a team who has not replaced that here is Sentinel still, as Zom's running that classic, what I call the ugliest skin for Pathfinder, the watermelon there. He runs it every time, and it bothers me every tournament.
Well, if it bothers you, then... well, I'm okay with that, All right, well, up above you got Force, Brood, and Promo on the high ground right outside at the edge of the zone. Also that zip line there just to get yourself to the high ground. A few shots were zipping by there on Force. I don't know if you heard that. And they're just going to take advantage of those G7 Scouts, man. Crack the shields. Plan those shots out, get a little lead in there. You got players all around them here, and they can just continue to put some fear into them. Some more shots. They have plenty of ammo to spare.
Nice openers there, and I like the caution with each shot. Very, very precise, making sure to take his time. And look at the prey there. A third party comes in, an easy cleanup.
Sentinels.
It's going to be sad there for Force, but Force what? But as you said, Sentinels are got to be the primary focus there, as they are likely going to force the push. 20 seconds out till round 2 is going to close. Can they defend off one of the favored teams here in this event?
Well, they have the angles, they have the range. If Sentinels wants to get up in their face and get aggressive, they're going to have to deal with Promos, who's so far up ahead there. I wonder what that is going to really pan out for Sentinels. They could potentially do it, but with that high ground control, it's going to be really challenging there. Now we go over to Pride, Metro, and Turns, and they're going to have the charge rifle here, Wade.
Yeah, something we haven't seen in a hot while. Finds a nice crack there onto purple armor. It's PTM now furthering the advance here into the fray. Peak number 2, not going to find anything here quite yet, but once he gets around this choke, they're going to have a big action there. Losing all the armor, in that trade to the Wingman is not a good look here for PTM.
like that these players are getting a little aggressive, getting a little aggro. Oh, but the nade comes flying in from RKN, and they smell blood as Team Pro is going to engage in this fight. You got the R99 Peacekeeper overpowered. He's looking to live up to the name and get up in their face as they are just going to send them with their tail tucked between their legs. Cracked armor over there. You got to chuck that thermite there just to be able to put some pressure onto them. There it goes. Nicely done by Overpowered. That's going to be a down onto Pride. He's going to get out of dodge. They did lose out on Peach there. RKN's going to be a little low, popping that shield battery there. Should be back in a fighting position here in just a second as that ring closes in, but they're going to be in that safe zone.
Overpowered got so much value out of that thermite grenade. It was absolutely ridiculous. To confirm the information on the second target for golden armor and the crack enabled his teammate to get an easy push into that and deal with the circumstances. Pro still continuing onward here as they are getting forced a slight amount by that circle. We're going to be down a piece, but it looks good for them. Back here with flying saucers.
Oh, and it ain't looking good. Well, goodbye, my friends. This flying saucer, you might as well just go back whatever planet you came from and try again later, because it ain't happening this time around. We jump back over now to Promo, Brood, and Force as they continue to live life in the frosty environment of the epicenter, chilling out here as, you know, that was my corny dad joke of the day. But they have, again, all of this range. It seems like they backed away from that fight with Sentinels there.
Yeah, and actually, you know, the decision-making that they have here to kind of choose an establishment to hold up for a short period of time, I actually really enjoy what they chose, and more importantly, when they chose it, because it is in a position to, even without the ultimate accelerators, which does come into play here, they have the opportunity to wait out the cooldown for the next Watson generator and be impactful on the next rotation as well. So it's a great opportunity to be able to gatekeep, have resources, but not setting yourself back for the future gameplay.
So they get their teammate Peach back in the action. Okay. Oh, you got to get out. Did you see that?
Yeah, but it should be noted, they're going to be coming through that portal. They know that Peach has no armor. They want everything to do with that skirmish whatsoever. PTN, though, struggling as they are on the kind of side here, just to the south of actually the skirmish we just witnessed, and still down Pride.
Nope, this is Struggle City Population 2 because they're out of here. You got Metro, he's trying to stay alive, turns his down, the recovery banner is out, but it ain't gonna matter. That's gonna be the kill. Goodbye, try again later. That was G Dolphin that managed to pick up Metro Primal there.
And it looks like this is Pro here, able to survive what was a Crypto ultimate, pressuring this top high ground angle. Crypto, that seems to be the first glance we've actually gotten of him at the competitive level. And we'll see if it ends up paying off. But the fact that this Team Pro was able to bring back Peach and things are holding pretty successful in a round number 3 is very, very good for them. Able to loot things up and hopefully hold on here when round 3 comes to a close.
And also, I do want to note that that kill that came out on Metro came from Sniper Abusers, still very much in this battle here. You also got Force and I think that was going to be Pro in a fight as well. Aqualix living life all the way by the edge, so close to the safe zone, and there we go, right? Just as I had mentioned before, we were going to see that epicenter final circle.
Wait, are they going to take that portal? Do they have the confidence to take somebody else's portal to get this pressure?
I don't think they're going to go for that.
You're right. They end up playing it a little bit safer here, but they do have a low ground position here. Are they going to Arcstar the Wraith to get the push? We do see the Gibraltar ultimate go out, but it's going to be denied there by the generator. Actually opting to retreat out. Interesting choice here. Aqualix, though, will look for an Arcstar push in a matter of seconds if they want to take this high ground.
Oh, there's some players right to the right side here, and Phony's going to go down. That's going to be BCJ. That's Sniper Abusers that have that angle. And there goes the portal, right? Just got to get out of there. Get your teammate through that portal as soon as possible, because they're going to be chunked for so much.
Watson has to go through. Okay, I don't know if it's going to be too problematic, but letting the Watson go through first is probably going to be better there because the resources on the Pathfinder exist longer. And that is, the beginning of the end there. Struggling situation, not able to push fast enough. But the battle goes on. 15 squads here remain as we still sit with round number 4 in our game number 1.
You got Mini, Smile, and Moose and Flower here as they're living in the shelter of this Watson generator. Some fences being put up as well just to give themselves the added protection, sharing resources as well as we get ready for that late game battle. 13 squads remain, 37 players still left to tussle here. Got a lot of bodies left in the battlefield. Moose and Flower's gonna feel the pressure of that one, has to dip out of there, gonna pop back with that wingman try their best to be able to apply some pressure here, but it ain't gonna happen. As Snipe Down pushes in Controller Gang all day. He gets himself one, he gets himself two, and that is gonna be goodbye to that team as the Sniper Abusers continue on their trek.
Sniper Abusers, actually, we saw Snipe Down go for the armor swap for that situation. He actually traded from purple into a blue, so a bit of a setback in terms of overall resources.
Yeah.
They hold their own in that fight, but we'll see how it plays out. So far, looking so good there for what is one of our, expected to do well teams here in this event. BCJ, Snipe Down, and G Dolphin, but Sentinel still holding their own here on Epicenter. Should be noted, this is a much more southern Epicenter circle than what you can see sometimes, northern. Sometimes it can be off to that southern edge where Capital City becomes a major problem, but over this specific one, Sentinels actually have a grand position because rarely is anybody moving from Refinery.
Anyone who is not in this high ground has a problem where this circle is right now, except for Sentinel, because they have the high ground, they have the coverage, they know where all the threats can potentially come from to cause a problem for them. And they're sitting pretty currently, and the ring is going to be closing in 10 seconds. We'll see now how these teams are going to have to push in, because you know that a lot of bodies are scattered around this safe area here.
Yeah, and when the next round closes in, not number 4 as we see coming to a conclusion here right now, but in fact the next one into round 5 is forces over to that little construction section that is just on the, I believe, northwestern end of the Epicenter. So everybody from the glance that we're taking now have to make their way all the way over to the opposite side, and it's moving through these icebergs and this kind of cutoff that you see through the ice that is so challenging as we watch Rogue make their attempt here towards the center.
Dude, nothing but heavyweights here for the top 12, man. Sniper Abusers, Rogue, Sentinels. I mean, I think Stinky's still going to be in the fray. I think Squidward might still be in the action too. Like, there's just so many great teams that are still going to be left to fight here as this circle's going to get nice and cozy for all of our players. It's only going to get more challenging from here, Dreadnought.
Yeah, but Rogue has been climbing the ranks, especially with the results in GLL, I believe placing 3rd overall. I think that this is going to be an event that is very defining for them, and I'm not surprised for them to look good here so far. They just got to be able to continue onward because it's not over yet. 12 squads remain. High ground advantage here as the triple take comes through. Unable to land the 3rd. One more. And there is the conclusion there. One more kill as that is Naffin dropping out from Team Squidward at 11 squads remaining.
Hey, I said it right. Heavyweights. That's what we have here. So many great players still left to fight for the top crown in game number 1 of the finals here for the Apex Legends Global Series online qualifier for North America. Back over to Rogue now. Just playing their corners, watching their angles, making sure no one's going to pop up behind and surprise them.
Taking the portal. Actually, that was the Wraith Cube back. That's going to be very difficult for them. Luckily, that's going to come up just before the next round closing, which is when we're going to need Sweet Dreams to be able to have that. What I want to raise here for Rogue is whether or not they opt into the low ground here or if they're going to use the path to try and attempt towards that high ground. We know there's a squad just waiting up there and dominating it, but likely also one towards that southern, or in fact, do they go towards a wide western push?
Well, look at where Sentinels are.
Yeah, I mean, just completely on the opposite side.
Yeah,
they holding up.
Where Sentinels is positioned is very scary because they're going to be able to just tag a few players as they make that push. And here it comes now as round 5 is going to come to a conclusion. The zone is going to continue to creep forward. You got players up ahead. Retzi sees it. There goes the push now. Portal's going to be out. And Zoms adding pressure right away. Now into the portal they go. Right into that safe area. They know exactly where they're going to be. The grapple comes through, right through the fences there, baby! Nice play, but Zoms is gonna go down, and that was so well timed. You had the Arc Star disable all of that stuff that was gonna be lingering about there, but unfortunately, just not able to clean up the kills, and they read that one like a book.
Yeah, that was clean, and it looked so very good there, but just not enough opener with those few opening shots to really be able to set the tone here. Fire, though, actually, they have the final circle positioning pretty well here as well, and the fact that they have a lot of armor on the ground, they are prepared to armor swap whenever is necessary, but look at that, Burt, down to 25, maybe 10% HP, is going to look towards one of those swaps.
There goes the Mastiff, big boy coming out to play. Wow. Bowser, gets one. Player's going to be located right to the east of them here as his teammates getting tagged up. That's Burt, tries to go for the loot and get sneaky there, grab something that he could use to his advantage. Unfortunately, doesn't work out. Gonna have to look around to see if there's any shields that they can use at that moment in time. And finds PvP.
That was PvP. PvP could have shot him. He had no HP. He could have shot him once and gotten the kill there, but the fact that he hit...
He had no HP either.
No, he was willing to play pacifist. last man
It was
standing.
a game of chicken.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact that he got that because he was completely out of armor, there was nothing sitting around, and then PvP's like, hey, boy, I got you, man. I got you back. Here you go. Gosh, so very lucky there for them.
Thank you for the delivery.
Yeah, exactly. On your front porch, man. But here we go. Promo, Brood, Force What, trying to find their way into that construction territory that we just watched the demise here. Wraith Portal is out.
This team looking to live up to the name of the Lil Poggies.
I'm ready.
Maybe some poggers in the chat. Who knows if this is going to work out for them. 4 squads remaining, 10 players left.
TSM still in it. We just watched them get a knock there. Albralele, a kill onto somebody. We have gotten very little information on what they've been up to here with the 4 squads remaining, but they may be amongst them as out Imperial How went down. Here we see round 4 closing. Everybody forced here to make a transition out, trying to find somebody in the construction zone, but then he's stuck out.
Oh no, Vol, that is a big loss for them here. And Force, Brood, and Promos are still going to be hanging out in the high ground here. The little Poggies might be able to take this one. 2 squads remaining. Who's it going to be on the other side that they're going to be contending against here? They have a lot of open area to work with, and it's going to be the Pathfinder in front of them. And there you go, GG, the little Poggies take the win.
What? How does that happen?
I don't
know. Okay, so mainly I want to say what I'm in awe of is
they pay you to theorize.
Is that okay? So Sentinels maintains high ground positioning off into the side for a matter of moments, and the only reason I thought it was Sentinels is again the ugly watermelon Pathfinder skin. And even if that wasn't them, what I'm in awe of is that we watched them end up struggling in that battle with the high ground positioning. We talked about refinery, the rotation that you make after that. It's very, very difficult to get pressured from there. They end up losing that battle, not maintaining the high ground that they want, and everyone was so concerned with the construction site in the center of Epicenter that position outside of the Sentinels battle there in that territory, Little Poggies almost never, it felt like, was heavily pressured, even though that is a very common advantageous position over that final circle.
It never felt like the Poggies were bothered.
Yeah.
It felt like they had free reign to do whatever they want. And sometimes that's honestly just how the cards fall, right? Where a team is just not being harassed. But there's just everyone for some reason just starts looking in one area. We saw what happened with PvP. They're kind of just like tucked away. You see a bunch of kills pop off there, and you know how important kills are, that you almost want to play that aggressive role so that this way you can just, rack up some points.
Yeah.
I think that for Little Poggies, though, what worked out well for them was that they were just, hey, go ahead, have a good time, fight it out. We'll pick up the scraps, we'll get a few kills here and there, but most importantly, we'll pick up a dub.
Yeah, I think it was very well done, and it was orchestrated, right? I think that's the prettiest thing about it is that they were very aware of some of the decision-making that, whether it be Sentinels or somebody else, it doesn't matter. It's just knowing the highest pressure points based on the situation at hand and executing accordingly. I just wonder, under a different, in the next games, are they going to be able to continue clutching that if they do, in fact, receive the pressure that maybe was a miss in Game 1?
Yeah, that was a huge win for the Poggies, man. You would not have thought when you look at the lobby and people that were in that game, that, like I said before, the heavyweights that were in that game, the little Poggies were going to be the ones that come out on top. But just the intelligent play there, letting everyone else kind of just beat each other up and then swooping in to just get that win, that is what it is all about. And now they're just that much closer to being the winners here and walking away with that top prize, which I think is the most important thing here. But overall, though, a great Game 1. The little Poggies come out on top there. And let's send it to some poggers themselves. We got Fallout with the analyst. Take it away.
Yeah, we are the definition of poggers over here live at the Legends Lounge. That's what we're going to call it. We had officially decided that.
I wonder who thought of that.
It may have been Evan. May have not been Evan. I think it was Bravo, actually.
No. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody.
It was Evan. Don't try that.
I like that. He gives credit where credit is due. Fallout here, joined alongside Bravo, Lulu Lovely, and Rain Day. And game number 1 is complete. It was awesome. Long time coming. We've been waiting all weekend for this moment, the opportunity to break down some action. Evan, what stood out to you the most?
Honestly, it was just a great game, and we saw different faces of Apex show up. And this is what I'm excited about for the qualifiers. This is what I loved about this game. You had teams in advantageous positions. You looked at Onmu and those guys just absolutely holding top side of Epicenter. They were in a great spot. But then you also look at the best spot and ended up going to Brood, and they end up winning the game. But it just goes to show that you would expect TSM, you would expect Rogue, you would expect these guys to be there, but they weren't. This is a very unique atmosphere for Apex to be played professionally, and it's giving us a lot of great new things to look at.
Yeah, you almost felt like the dynamic of the game was changing. changing. The power dynamic was changing often. The team that had the power position no longer ended up with that. Of course, Lil Poggies ends up on top. A team that you maybe haven't heard of. They're a team that actually originally had a team comp running with Gibby. They decided on Pathfinder days before the tournament began, and watching some of their early scrims. Talking about this team composition we saw with Pathfinder on their comp.
I mean, Pathfinder is a staple character. You get mobility, you get beacons, they know where the zone's going. And Brood's team, you know, with that Pathfinder, they were able to get an amazing spot. And they looked unbothered the whole time. They really just held strong.
Yeah, they made it look easy. They really did. First place finish, which is 12 points, and they got a bunch of kills to suit.
Yeah, for me, it's just a continuation of the Open, right?
Right.
The story of Open was after the first round, not too many upsets, but once we got into the thick of it, really the later rounds of Open for North America, you saw a lot of the top teams that we expected to be here today dropping out, right? And the question going into this last set of 5 games is that going to continue to be the story? And Game 1 tells us yes. Some of these unknown teams, they're here to play. They're going to make a statement. You might have doubted them through Open, but guess what? If they continue to do well today, it's going to be hard to doubt them come the Major.
Yeah, undoubtedly, especially if they played consistently. I know Lil Poggies was playing consistently yesterday through all the Open rounds. It was 5 straight rounds they had to do.
I think they got they were top 5 in their semifinal as well yesterday.
They were. Yeah, they performed incredibly well. So consistent play certainly does pay off, but that's a key storyline of this entire tournament. We're seeing an Open qualifier for the first time. We see teams like NRG, Complexity not competing today. Instead, we got teams like the Stinky, and we got Lil Poggies holding it down.
Yeah.
Team Squidwards. Yeah. We got some unknown teams trying to make a name for themselves, trying to find an organization.
Yeah, and this is their opportunity to do so. You're right. Like, this is their moment to shine. If they want to get picked up, or, you know, a lot of these people may also be individuals that recently got dropped from orgs, or they've been involved in some roster changes. So this is their time to shine and find a new home.
Yeah, we got to give a lot of love to Lil Poggies, doing it in a big way the first game. Of course, 3 members of the team. Brood is 31 years old.
Crazy.
Oakland native. This man's holding it down for the 30-plus club. For I think maybe one of our few players in the 30-plus
Yeah, which
club.
is big for Apex, right? Because Apex,
huge.
To be honest, it's a pretty young community.
Lean's young,
When you look
yeah.
at in terms
Except
of
you.
esports. Thanks, man. Jeez. I had your back at the beginning of this segment, man.
He really did.
Like hard.
You throw him under the bus.
And this is what this is gonna be a long day.
It's going to be a long day.
Long day,
I think
right?
we have to cast together, too. This is going to be fun. You can get me back then.
It's right. He's 29, almost 30 years old. That's right. I didn't know.
Hey, don't throw me under the
I don't know
bus,
what to
too.
say. I don't know what to say.
But Brood is holding it down, of course. Playing alongside teammates from 24, 27 years old, so leaning a little bit older, which you don't see happen very often. A huge shout out to the Lil Poggies. They actually had a different roster. They were playing with Turns, I believe, formerly Pittsburgh Knights, and Turns left to play with a different team, I think, weeks before this tournament. They just picked up Brood a few weeks ago, have been scrimming for just a little bit, and that scrim mentality, Brood is their IGL. It's all coming together.
Honestly, and I've played a few games with Brood, and we did Twitch Rivals together, and he's always been a go-getter, and I'm pretty sure he plays on controller too.
Controller player,
yes.
holding it down.
So like he's always has had it in him. So I'm not surprised to see him taking this team and winning.
I mean, controller players are superior. That is a fact.
And Lulu.
Okay, that's a dangerous dangerous conversation.
You're like getting bamboozled.
Too many angles of
We're
attack.
talking a lot about Brood, and I think the great setup, obviously, Lil Poggies, they won, but it was a lot of little things that actually ended up leading into that. So, and the thing is, with those little things, you have moments where they decide the game, but you don't see them. Maybe you catch them off camera. The fighting happened mostly away from where Lil Poggies was. And to me, that ends up being the thing. The little armor swaps that don't work out for Fire, the little moments where they're actually finding kills that they shouldn't. It helps Poggies to just secure that spot and say, wow.
Yeah, and the best part about it, we have some highlights to break down the action and the little moments that led to where we are at. Bravo, a couple things that stood out to me early on. We did see at the very beginning, Team Squidward's actually getting an early kill off contention at Capital City. So great job by Lou, former FlyQuest, to do a big snipe down. Picked up a lot of kills early on with the snipe abusers as well.
Yeah, this is a great push right here that you're actually seeing the receiving end of at a snipe down. Snipe down is back in the Wraith role. He's also back in the IGL role. He's excited to play with these guys. I got to talk to him before the tournament, but he is a guy who was going to W key. He still calls it W key.
He does.
Hold left thumbstick forward. But yeah, he's a guy, like a lot of top players that are really ready to hold forward and keep going and pushing, and he showed a great display of that there.
Yeah, a lot of kills picked up by the snipe abusers. Of course, a roster we're looking out for, BCJ and G Dolphin flying out from Europe. Lulu, any other team that stuck out to you? You thought we had a great advantage with Highside right there. It didn't work out for them in the end.
I mean, it was a good position. Unfortunately, Zone did pull away from that, but that just shows, they were ready. That's one of the things that Zone might just mess you over there.
They position early, and that's the benefit of having a Pathfinder, right?
Exactly.
You get opportunity for knowledge, you understand where rotations are going to go. But in the end, the best positioning in the game were Lil Poggies. We said it earlier, and they had a chance to really, really do it big and close things out. We are now, Evan becomes Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Dreadnought is going to be leaving us. You
Yes.
catch a flight, but you absolutely dominated match number 1, man. Absolutely dominated.
You know, it was one game and I got the victory, so you know, I'm 100. But no, I want to say goodbye to every one of you, and just keep carrying the team, man. I'm excited to be able to see what ends up unfolding here the rest of the day.
You're the man. Big shout out to Wade, and a lot of love for Dreadnought. Honestly, one of the most brilliant minds and casters. He's humble as well. That's great to see. Someone who's not so humble, on the other hand, is my friend Golden Boy. I think Golden Boy is going to be joined with Evan, aka Rain Day, to break down the action for game number 2. Big shout out to my man Golden Boy and Rain Day at the desk.
Are you darn right I ain't humble? I'm a global icon, national treasure, award winner, best friends with Dwayne Johnson, professional wrestling commentator, entertainer of millions around the world. You better believe that I'm not humble. Hi, Evan.
Hey, I'm just here. And it's a good place to be next to a guy like this.
Well, let's go. Let's just jump into some games here, man. We got game number 2 coming up now. And once again, we're going to be taking a look at Sentinels at the start of this one. And Sentinels, I think, always come with them just, the story, the drama, the hype, the intrigue. Sentinels bring it all.
I mean, this is a team that definitely knows what they're doing as far as playing the game, and they're one of the most respected teams. It's why they're getting a spot such as Sorting Factory with such high-tier loot and so much ability to kind of get geared out at the early part of it. But there's a big story because they do have to keep finding these rotations, and usually they're playing off of teams that they know. Bravo mentioned that a lot before. We'll see how they can adjust in a little bit of a different lobby, not necessarily with those teams that they're constantly scrimming.
Yeah, and then we have Fire. That we had discussed, Fire, me and Dreadnought, before about how this team felt like that they were overlooked. And we said, well, if you don't want to be overlooked, get in and compete with the best of the best. And that's exactly what Fire is doing here. So we certainly cannot ignore them anymore. And already at the breaker, Bowser with that fat line.
It is fat, though.
No, it is fat. And the triple take, which... Do you think that we'll see that triple take make it all the way to the end?
It's so interesting because we saw Onmu actually. Yeah, you got the answer to it. But we did see Onmu last game actually holding Epicenter at the top with the triple take. And we saw G Dolphin actually playing with a longbow. And although the Scout is the meta, does that mean that you have to play it? No, absolutely not. Yeah. And I think GB, we will see it. And sometimes it's desperation. Sometimes it's a little bit of style. But I think most of all, it's having distance and being able to support as far as your role when your teammate's pushing and you have to stay back and kind of hold your area.
And also with the G7 Scout, players have really just been opting for this nice passive play, really give themselves some zone coverage, if you will, have this weapon that can clear out so much space, and people are just going to continue to take advantage of the strength of the G7, but also just the strength of range in general that I think we're seeing here in Apex Legends, right? Players just really... especially at the top level of play, you don't want to risk it for the biscuit and push in way too aggressively too much, right? Like you would do in a pub lobby.
No, absolutely. I mean, you get biscuits in the morning. Don't need to do it here when you're playing for potentially $500,000.
Think about the calories.
Exactly, my man. I mean, not after 6 p.m. Come on, it's starting.
Like we already know.
Summer is 5 months away. It's shredding season, okay?
Exactly.
We're trying to get lean and mean. And it's little things like this. You see a great loadout here. We were just talking about some of these guys here, but Team Smile going in, Muse and Flower as well with the Wingman, the level 3 heavy extended mag. Huge difference in damage in that magazine. Goes from 4 to 10 with the level 3, and that just means that you've got essentially so much firepower, but poking power as well. So he's opting no scout, no R9, takes the PK. He's close range. He's strong close range, and he's also got some pressure.
And I think that's the most important takeaway that you said from that, the poking power.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do that with the G7 for sure, but the advantage that you get with that Wingman is that if you want to get up close with it, you can.
Yeah.
You can have a good time with that weapon if you want to get up close in someone's face. But then, in case, let's say, theoretically, you lose out on all your PK shots, you got the Wingman there to clean up as well with the heavy damage. But there goes some shots now as Brood, Force, and Promo, they're going to just drift away. This is Little Poggies, the winner of game number 1. Let's see if they're able to replicate that success again here in game 2.
Decently geared out here as far as, having a blue, but it's not where you want to be, and especially with the RE45 R99. We talked about using bullets. Those are probably two of the guns that will use light ammo the most outside of a G7, tagging along with that or an R301. So you have to wonder if they feel confident heading into this after such a strong performance. People, when they see a knock from that team, will be saying, okay, we need to push these guys because they're already in a fantastic position to qualify top 5.
And I think that's why, that instance, they said, nope, I'm not going to take this fight. Oh, fire.
Hello.
Like that. Right around the corner. Some tags there with that R99, which we had talked about extensively just a little while ago, but Bert's going to just drift away there. Put the fear, get some shots in. It just shows that great awareness from this team that because they did that, it's going to slow down those players inside of the tunnel, and they could just get out of there scot-free. A little tagged up, a little bruised, but they'll be okay, and they're ready for this next fight if it comes.
And it is coming. They did spot somebody out, so they're going to go into these buildings. But the rotations, we talk about that in Apex as a big deal, but you don't know why. The reason is if you're watching this game and saying, what does it matter that they made it through tunnel first? Well, that other team has got to go through tunnel, or they've got to completely reroute and run into places they don't know. They haven't scouted. And so the fact that they're there first means they can hold it. It means that you've got to go through them. You've got to fight through a choke. You're predictable, and you're also at a disadvantage because you're running into damage, not the ability to escape from it. And that is why those early rotations sometimes make the difference between a team setting themselves up for a good final circle.
Yeah, when you listen to people talk about how to play Apex Legends, rotations, rotations, rotations. That is the #1 word that you would hear so much because players, they have to recognize how they're going to just move around the map so that this way they don't put themselves in positions that could potentially ruin their gameplay experience.
Yeah.
Their gaming experience.
Their gaming experience. They need the
bunch
4K.
of gamers, all these kids.
I mean, these guys, looking at these setups, man, I mean, as a kid, when I was this age, and I'm a young man of 29, okay, Brav is like an old man of 30.
32.
He's just so much older than me. I don't know what his generation was like. They probably didn't even have cars back then. I don't know how he got around. But
well, I'm 32, so what does that make me?
I said he's 31. You're 32. You're fine. You're like mature. He's like not mature yet, but he's still really old.
I mean, I wake up in the morning, I feel like I just got hit by a truck.
I don't know what that hand sign is, but
and the bird is a word. All right. Well, now we got Rogue here. Dropped Sweet Dreams and Huskers. And they're going to just continue to have fun with fences.
Yeah.
Fun with Fences should be the name of an Apex-centered show. Maybe we'll make a podcast, Fun with Fences.
Like, you don't need more podcasts to do. But, I mean, in all seriousness, this team is in such a great position. They know how to play the game so much better than a lot of other teams that you're going to run across. And all of these teams in this lobby know how to play Apex at a high level. But Rogue specifically are so good mechanically at executing. And also I find that they find a balance between being aggressive and also biding their time. Which isn't always easy as we get the Sentinels in trouble, GB.
Yeah, Zoms just took a chunk of damage. This is kind of looking like a little deja vu situation here where Sentinels, they were in a two-story. They got clapped earlier. This was not the position that Sentinels wanted to be in. We were watching some of their games, and they kind of sometimes struggle in these close-range situations. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but sometimes, man, when you're in these buildings, people can just throw some nades in there. That's when you want to put down that Watson generator, give you some kind of protection. You always need to be careful in these close encounter scenarios. More fences as well. Fun with Fences, starring Sentinels.
And Xenox just having fun with the Watson as well. I mean, it's fun when you're able to poke and get that passive regen like they're doing now. Any of these sniper fights are most likely going to tilt towards Sentinel's way. As you see Xenox, look at that blue shield just passively generating. He doesn't have to waste resources. He doesn't have to shield cell, which is so important because that final circle, you don't have time to wait this long when a fight's happening. So he's saving those resources, still being able to gauge in a fight. Just has to take a little 30-second break.
Good this way.
Then onward to RCO White. You got Gabe is Money, Hill, and Zenial. Gabe, a great player in his own right, looking for a little bit of redemption in this competition. Want to prove himself to not only himself, but also to the competitive Apex community at large. Zenial, though, with some shots with the charge rifle from downtown. It's got that nice big scope on there.
Nice to see the 4x8 as well. Don't often see it on a charge rifle right now. It's a classic combo, though. Start of Season 3, this was terrifying a lot of people. But
this was it.
This was it. This was Season 3 for a while.
This was everything, that charge rifle. Such a powerful weapon.
And you can see why. I mean, the hit scan pressure, even though it's not as much damage as it is, obviously the ammo consumption is heavier. You don't have any more extended mags, so you've got 4 shots on it at max. it's pressure.
But look at the hit scan damage that you're just going to get from here.
Yeah.
From
It's
here.
crazy.
Like, look how far he is. And all he does, if he gets that tag, he's doing damage instantly. Doesn't have to angle the shots like you would with a scout or with a longbow or even, you know, just or with a triple take. You know, you're just getting shots from the distance.
Yeah, and it's a great thing. Rogue here setting up as well on one of the higher towers. Just this is a safe spot to be. Everyone biding their time again. You're not going to see most of these big fights, GB, until hopefully the top 10, because these teams know that points are still really not gotten through much except winning a couple of those late game fights. You can have 0 points, but if you get 2 team wipes in a top 3, that's about 12, 15 points to your name, and you're pretty much set up to qualify.
Golden Guardians Timmy gets a kill off screen. Hadn't really talked much about the Golden Guardians. I know that Lulu was, you know, Lulu's a fan of the Golden Guardians. Wonder what they're going to be able to do here. Some more fights are going to be taking place as Hierarchy, Mooman, and Kubsky in the fray here.
Strong team. Stinky actually qualifying above TSM and a lot of other teams. Rogue, excuse me, as well in that second semifinal. And so putting themselves in this position, they've done a lot of great work. Can they put it together against these teams in the final circle? So that's what we're trying to find out. Hierarchy has been so far a pretty much giant on the G7 with the 3 times. Nice mid-range scope. Gives you a little bit of long tapping, but also you can use it up close, as Lulu was talking about earlier on the couch.
And you know, I like the flatline. You know, I'm just a fan of that weapon.
Is that your go-to?
My go-to is the Prowler, and I know that no one's going with the Prowler here, so I totally understand. I love to go off meta all the time. It's a problem.
I mean, if you find that hop up though, man.
That's why I'm here talking about the game rather than playing the game.
It's
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's why we're up here.
If you get the hop up, it's wonderful.
It is full auto, man. That thing shreds.
But that is like probably the hardest thing in Planet Earth to find.
It is
the hop up.
I don't understand why either, but
I'll get 15 million turbochargers, won't get a hop up for select fire anywhere here. Well, in any case, enough of my woes with the Pathfinder, or with the Prowler, excuse me, as overpowered Arcan and Peach are going to be engaged in a fight here. Overpowered's going to go down, but Arcan's able to just body Mooman there with the Wingman. Here comes his teammate there to back him up with that R99. Get some damage there on the big boy Gibby. Arcan backing up as that nade's going to be out there. His teammate's down, but he's got him in front of him. He just needs to play it patient.
Only has a white 2 GB. He's just going to try to go for a heal, but he's got the charge
rifle
pressure
from downtown.
It's going to be horrible. He's backing up, and he's getting the shield regen, but he's got to stay line of sight if he wants it. He's going for the res. This is risky, though.
Yeah, you hear the res coming out. You got to get to these players and pick them up and try and pick them off as quickly as you can. But this is going to keep them in the game. Team Pro still in this one, Rain Day.
He's got overpowered as well, picked up first. Some might have gone for the Gibraltar first to get the shield down early, because then you get faster reses.
I think at that point you're just panicking.
But you're just panicking, exactly. At this point, he's just saying, can I get anyone up? And he does. Managing to get out of that was a tough situation, but luckily, RKN, he finds a way, and they live to see another day here.
Abreleli and TSM getting a few kills as well. That's going to be one for Imperial. Hal is going to be in a fight now. There's going to dip out through that portal. There goes the ArcStar. Send him down, let him know who's boss there, forcing him away from their portal as TSM. They're going to continue on with this pressure, throwing more of that ordnance. That's going to be it down there.
That's Squidward.
Well done. From a team that I think a lot of people felt would be a threat in this competition. TSM, obviously, you know, a great squad, multi-time winner, the back-to-back-to-backs, right?
Yeah.
But Squidward in this particular online event have been very impressive.
Absolutely. Monsoon, Lou splitting up, but finding a great team with Nathan and Rocker, and then obviously adding Lou to it. It's a dangerous combination, but TSM doing what they need to do. They've already got 3 points to their name. That was another team wipe. So as a team collectively, they're probably around 5. Maybe 6, which is huge, because most teams right now barely have a point, only top 15, unless they've been engaged in some of these skirmishes. So TSM setting themselves up again. Didn't do much game 1, but game 2 bouncing right back like we expected.
Is it going to be enough, though? And then while all that was going on, Rogue are still hanging out up here, and I don't blame them. They're playing that high ground gorgeously. They have the coverage. They have the vision. They don't need to sacrifice this spot right now. They're going to be in the safe zone when this ring closes, Rain Day.
And, you know, this is I talked about Fortress of Electricity for the Watson the other day, doing some segments. But that is like the rinky-dinky fortress of security right there. because it's one little thing. The Watson's hiding. She says, you don't want to commit off your high ground, so I'm just going to bet that you are not going to aggress onto me here. She knows if they push her, she's dead, but she's holding on for placement points, and at this point, that's what you got to do in a setting like this. I mean, if you can get anything, you're doing a favor for your team.
Well, I believe everyone is at 1 point right now.
Yeah.
Currently. Because when you're in that top 16, no one's getting any points.
Nope.
But now, get a placement point. That's nice. But I wonder though, Rogue, is it playing so passive here? Just concerns me because they're not racking up a lot of kills. But anyway, we'll worry about that in a little bit. There, we got Silence, Golden Slurpee, and Hume
nice
here.
Thermite.
Great Thermite. That's just chipping away at some of the damage and forcing them back.
And it looks like the Watson interception pylon actually went down late because you saw the grenade actually got exploded, got destroyed. But the Thermite actually went through, so it seems like she just put it up. Right now, Slurpee is going to try to hit that a couple times. It takes about a few shots from the wingman to actually get the interception pylon down, but he should have it after a few here. Seems like he's missing a couple trying to go for the fight as well. It's two dangerous things that he's aiming at for sure, and there it is, it's destroyed. So they can push. Ordnance is now in play, and they don't have to be too aggressive to apply pressure.
Yeah, and you actually heard it, right? As soon as that generator went down, they were able to push in. No more trophy system ability, no more, blocking the ordnance, but just in that moment in time there, they had that moment to just dip out, right?
Yeah.
At the very least, there's going to be a lot of loot there to grab, so they can just keep themselves right back in this game. As we go now over to Pro. Overpowered Peach, RKN, playing around this ridge here. Some nades flying in. RKN's just going to dip around.
And they're just holding this spot nice and easy. They've got the interception pylon covered by Gibraltar's dome, and that is one of the best combos that these two players bring together. They make each of those individual things better. Inside the dome, you're getting more regen, you're getting safer regen, and you're protecting the thing that's giving you the regen with the dome. They know someone is behind them. The zone right now is going to hurt, though, so they've only got a few seconds, and I think they're just saying they must have been taken out. They're not a threat anymore, biding their time. But
you're also going to be waiting for cooldowns here, too,
That's
right?
true.
You're waiting for cool. Oh, man, I was just going to talk about what we were seeing here. One of the, I think that was going to be, that was Timmy. They ended up getting picked off by Gabe.
Uh-oh.
Abralali, look at the shots. That's Rogue up above.
That was two as well. That was beautiful. The longbow actually went through, hit two players right there. And they've got such a good angle on Rogue. Rogue were in the safety of their tower like Rapunzel, but now they're thinking about letting the hair down because they do have to find a way out. Even though they are in the middle of the circle, they're just so pressured. I wonder,
where can they go?
if they, I mean, they want to stay there, but the problem is the pressure right now. If they run out of resources with only 4 shield cells for Huskers, they've just got to make sure the interception pylon stays alive.
And they also have to hope that maybe that death box that's to the right and left of them have some things to work with, right? Yeah. But even then, once you dip out of there, then, that's one less player that's going to be up top. Surely everyone's looking at Rogue right now.
Right.
Because they have the highest possible position you can have at this moment in time. It's a lot at stake here.
Snipe down G-Dolphin as well. Lost BCJ, but this team has had such good synergy since this swap. It's almost like Snipe Down's destiny to have teammates that feel like maybe they're better suited with somebody else. And Snipe Down maybe in the same way. He's been finding the best synergy, and I feel like he's found it here. But
well, Snipe Down, a long time, pro player. This guy knows talent.
He does.
He's been in this for such a long time. It's not a shocker that he's sitting here in the top 6 with such great players. There goes that longbow. It ain't going to be the scout this time around, Rain Day. It's the longbow making its gorgeous return back into competitive Apex. Hey, when in doubt, bust out the longbow. You got the devotion, too. I love it.
What a combo. Devo longbow. This is just nut stuff from Abralali. It's the shot as well. But they got to go in. They're doing a little hop. They've got to commit. One gets dropped. It's reps. And Abralali is going to fall as well. This is getting nuts, GB.
Yeah, this is not looking good. In TSM, unfortunately for them, it's going to be curtains here. Abralali goes down. You got one more player down right below them. That's reps, and that is goodbye. Pro's going to be right below Rogue. 3 squads remaining.
And it's got to be Rogue. It's Pro here.
It's Rogue, Pro, and I think it might be Sniper Abusers.
It might be. If Snipe Down in that squad is still alive, but Rogue have a great spot here. They've got these arc stars going up. I believe the interception pylon. Oh no, it's going to explode. It's going to hit. But it didn't do any damage though, and so they're trying to loot. Arcane just trying to get as much as he can and not expose himself. They're pretty safe right here.
Yeah, they are. They will have to. Well, let me see here. No, they won't have to move when this ring closes. So they'll still have this high ground.
And that goes to reason that Pro will still have the low ground. And so this is how you play these types of towers. One goes high, one goes low. It's equally as dangerous for both because when you're dropping, you have to hit the ground.
Oh, it's Hal! It's Hal!
TSM still alive!
TSM was out! Hal's still in it!
Oh my God, we've seen it before. Hal
And they pushed up.
tries to make a play here. It's going to be Hal taken down. He went for the beautiful play.
That was ambitious, man. I respect it. Oh, no, but Peach is going to be out of this. And Rogue, they've held this down. And if there's one thing Obi-Wan has taught us is that when you have the high ground, do not challenge him. Always listen to Ewan McGregor here, people.
And look at this, Pro looking to fight off Rogue, but Rogue are so good. The G7 with a hip fire. He's going to go down, though. Pro, RKN finds it. And it's just Huskers and drop now for Rogue.
Yeah, this is going to be a big fight now. You got RKN. Managed to take out Sweet.
Can't
The
do it
fight
again.
continues on here. It's dropped. Doesn't have true HP, but does have some shields. He's going to push up with that devotion. And there you have it. Oh, my goodness. They had the high ground, Evan. They had the high ground, and it didn't matter.
You know what? It's the tag team that you like to see. I mean, you're a fan of wrestling. We were watching a little bit at dinner the other night.
Oh, yeah.
It ends up 2 being better than 1. RKN tried to go ahead and get the win, but Rogue just had too many players. It ends up being that you got to drop from the high ground at some point, and it ends up working out for him. I mean, it's a beautiful play and a beautiful management of an interesting circle.
They had the high ground. They had the numbers. They had everything. It didn't matter what anyone was going to do there because Rogue had that one wrapped up. Very well done there by the veterans, players that have been in this for such a long time. But that is going to do it for myself and Rain Day. Let's send it back over to the, what is it, the Legends Lounge?
The Legends Lounge.
The
Get
Legends
it right.
Did you make that
I'm
up?
copywriting this.
You did? Okay,
No,
sure.
I
The
made
Legends
that
Lounge.
up. I made that up. This is my Legends Lounge, and I
Okay.
made that up.
All of our.
1,000%.
It's a good name. I
Everyone
will
made
say
it.
that.
Exactly. It's all of our Legends Lounge. Indeed. The Legends Lounge, indeed. And guess who's joining us for the very first time at the Legends Lounge? It's none other than your boy God Blaze live and bringing the action, man. Good to have you on the couch.
Oh, man, I'm happy to be here. Haven't been back since me and Nate did the Command Center out in Poland, which was a great event, though. But we just got done with our second matchup of the finals, and it's been great games all day long.
Yeah, and you killed it at the Command Center, by the way, with the whoops and the smiley faces and the emojis. No better personality in esports, I'll tell you that much.
Appreciate you.
Great to have you on board. Of course, Rogue finishes on top. TSM, another consistent top 3 finish, doing what TSM does best. But that end game was a little bit crazy, a different end zone than we're used to seeing, Bravo.
Yeah, what was kind of cool was we went to uncharted territories, and it's called uncharted territories in game for a reason.
For a
because
reason.
we, I think across preseason invitational in Poland, the GLL, both regions, I don't think we saw a single uncharted territories end circle.
Finish, yeah.
So to actually see everyone kind of have to get out there and set up, granted, there's still a lot of familiar territory in terms of like the drill tower, right? You're still going to have one team playing high, one team playing low. That's what we saw. But it was nice to see that end circle for the first time in, to be honest, competitive play period.
Yeah, and ultimately Rogue came out on top. We saw some early kills as well, Lulu, but ultimately we were all wondering who's alive still. Who's the third squad? You called it out. It was TSM.
Yep. Yeah, they tried to make a push up to Rogue, but Reps and Aurelli both got picked, and Hal just kind of right in the middle. And it was unlucky that he was found out, but he's really good at ratting. It's almost what he does best. But
And he almost got away with the self-res, too.
I think RKN went to go finish him.
Knew he had to finish him because it's Hal.
They got to get that placement point.
By the way,
too,
if this was
so.
any other context, saying someone's really good at ratting would be a horrible thing to say. But in Apex, being a rat is a
Hiding.
fantastic thing because it gets you a lot of placement points. Endgame was a little bit crazy, Blaze. I know you're going to break down the action for us. What did you see in that endgame?
Yeah, man, it was super crazy towards the end game. And, we had Rogue up there. They were at that height advantage, at the high ground. And, I can break it down right now for you guys and go into depth. But you know what? I'm going to get on up and go back to my trusty telestrator because you know what, John? I've missed it since Poland. I haven't been back in a while, but I am going to be happy to kind of break down this last circle for you guys. When you take a look at it, Rogue, they was at the top of the spire. They had the pylon set up. Bravo said it. We were in uncharted territories, so it's not going to be too many places for cover. You're going to be out here in the open. So all teams was rushing towards the bottom of the tower, just trying to get set up, trying to find something, some type of angle to take Rogue off the height position. But we're slowly starting to see drop. He is taking some damage. It's 2 squads left. He's going to be full red, but in the end, it was Rogue who comes through and they get the kill fallout. They set up there most of the game. They were all free and clear, and they got it done.
And Rogue does it. They were doing it all day yesterday. Of course, they do it again today with a first place finish. And so far, we've seen a lot of TSM. We've seen some Rogue. We've seen a lot of top players. Of course, Lil Poggies went huge in Game 1. We saw Pro go big there, a team with Overpowered on that squad. So a variety of things that we've seen so far in the Apex Legends Global Series Online Qualifier number 1. Of course, if you want to keep up with the action for all competitive Apex, you can go to playapex.com/ALGS and keep up with all action of the Apex Legends Global Series. This is only qualifier number 1. We have so many to come.
It's just the gameplay and what's happening is just all so exciting. And like every game we're seeing a free agent team making it to top 3, top 5. Like they're all in there, and that I love to see it.
Welcome to the next chapter.
Yes.
Competitive Apex.
Go Sniper Abusers.
You finally can say it. You can show a little bit of bias.
That's right. I don't care anymore. I don't care.
He's like, I'm on the gang all day. See you later.
All right. All right.
Thank you, GBeezy. Thank you so much, Golden Boy. Appreciate it. We'll see what Team Snipe Down and Sniper Abusers can do. Let's see what they did in that matchup, though. We have some highlights for you from match number 2. Sniper Abusers did really, really well. They honestly had a couple of early kills. We've seen that consistently from Sniper Abusers, a lot of early aggression.
And they are living up to their name, using snipers. Like, oh, we're seeing them use the scouts, the longbow, a little bit of return of the longbow, actually.
Yeah, a little TSM was using the longbow as well. I don't know what Golden Boy was talking about. I hope he was trolling with the Prowler thing. I pray that he was trolling. He is saying he was not trolling. He's confirming from across the studio, but no Prowlers have been used today, though. Safe to say.
Good. Yeah, I mean.
Hey, that Prowler hits with the pop-up, though.
So you gonna hop up on that thing? You can do work, get some blazes sand. I don't know about all that. But Longbow did make a return. We saw a lot of G7 Scout action, a lot of long-range action for sure. And actually, G7 Scout being used close range.
Yeah, honestly, it's not bad close range. You can still just absolutely melt someone.
Yeah, you pick that G7 Scout up right off the rip. That blind fire connects with the shots. You know, personally, one of my favorites. You know, like you said, Lulu, you can use it close range, long range. Definitely can do it all as long as you got that accuracy.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you see it paired with the R9 a whole lot. You know, you just clean up with the R9, easy peasy.
Yep, and I think right there at the end we saw the R301 come into play. So good job by Pro recognizing there was a team with a rat somewhere. There was a third squad. They picked up the kill on the last member of TSM, but Rogue did a great job recognizing, hey, there's a fight coming on right now. We can third party this fight. This is the time to push while they're fighting. Textbook play from Rogue. Obviously simple play, sitting up top. They played that position perfectly. They were the best positioned team, and it paid off.
And the one thing about being in a position like that, sometimes it's hard to have patience, especially when you got kills falling down around you, got people below you. But Rogue, you know, they made a veteran play up there. They waited to the exact last moment. Three teams left right below them, and they got down and they got the rest of those points and got the win.
Yep, so far we're 2 matches in, Lulu. I want to ask you, any teams that are doing well that maybe you didn't expect to do so well, and any teams that on the flip side you expected to do great that you haven't seen on top?
I mean, there's teams that I think we'll still see them coming up, but I'm really happy to see Pro really fragging out.
And step it up in a big way, yeah.
Exactly,
of course. Let's take a look at the standings and show you all how the action is breaking down exactly which teams have ended up on top. Lil Poggies, and again, a huge team from the open bracket that no one expected to win match number 1. They did it, and guess what? As a result, they are in 3rd place, but guess who it is in first? None other.
Right there at the top.
And the back-to-back-to-back, trying to make it a 4 times with TSM barely on top. Actually, way on top. Sorry, I thought that was the 30 and the 29.
Yeah, they got about 14 points.
They got about 14 points over Rogues. I clearly cannot see.
So 1 point difference separating Little Poggies right there. And then you're going to have a 3-point difference separating 3rd and 4th. You know, one team that, you know, I've been looking out for just kind of over the last 2 matches that we've been watching is RCO White. You know, they got knocked off a little bit early on the last game, but, you know, we saw them right before towards game 1 and thus kind of make it towards that late game. Gabe and the boys over there putting in some work.
Yeah, but if you look, it's crazy. At placement number 4, Sniper Abusers with Team Snipe Down, all the way down to placement number 14 at 8 points. It is basically 1 or 2 points separating each of these teams. So really, I think we're going to see this shaken up in a big way here. And I'll ask the same question now that we've seen the standings. Anything that sticks out to you?
I think it's still anybody's game, and 3, 4, and 5 are all free agent teams, which is amazing. Love to see it.
You do love to see it.
Exactly. Coming together last minute. I know there are a lot of last minute pickups. Nasky is coming all the way from Europe. He got picked up very, very last minute to play along his team. Excited to see what they can do if they can step up in a big way. Geesh and Co. on that squad. I think Geesh is former Team Liquid, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Or was it Cloud9 maybe? Can't remember exactly which squad that was. But excited to see what they can do as well. So a couple teams they'd expect to go big. Team Fire is another one that I'm looking out out for personally. We also have an all-controller team called the Griefers. They're all come over from the PlayStation community. So across the board, some great storylines. We'll be breaking down the action all day long. But Game 3 is ready, and all we want to see is gameplay action. And to cast this one yet again here, we got Bravo and Rain Day. Bravo on the desk for the first time. How you guys doing?
We are doing great. Thanks so much, Fallout. Rain, you and I from those standings saw quite a few interesting stories developing, and I have to say the biggest one right now might be Sentinels, touted as TSM's biggest threat, 21 points behind them, as you see TSM up 30-9.
I mean, you could almost triple their score, which is 9 points, and not get to what TSM is. That is a huge couple of rounds for the #1 team so far in the world, in North America, in these competitions. But it doesn't mean that it's over. This is a game that will last and continue, Brav. And we know that Sentinels still have a lot going for them. But as we follow Fire, as we follow Sentinels on these early drops, they have to get things right. And they do now start to have a little RNG go their way.
They do. We just saw Sentinels, as you'd expect. They were heading sorting, which is also hot this game, which is going to maybe give them a chance to bounce back. There's a lot of loot there to begin with. You and I talked about it before this tournament. There's also 4 beacon options for them. Sentinels are set up well. To be honest, it's kind of surprising that they have sorting to themselves in general. But here they have a hot drop in game number 3. This could be a big opportunity for them to bounce back.
And for those who don't know what a hot drop is, in Apex, it allows you to get upgraded loot, so you have higher chances of better loot, but you also have a guarantee of 1 golden item or golden weapon. So you're going to get a golden there. You may not find it, but it is there in that hot drop location every single game. That's why you'll see most players in your games actually dropping there for the risk. Right here as well, you look at Nighthawk and Mopark and PK6.
Might be something good
this is the MSK side. And, you might actually notice PK6 name from the Twitter clip that made the rounds this week. This is actually the crypto team that started to do, what we can call the portal EMP play, when you send your crypto in to hit that EMP at the same time that you time your Wraith portal, so that everyone kind of comes through the second the EMP hits. We saw them actually take down Snipedown's team with a great play just like that with this crypto comp. So, we heard from a few pro players that they were expecting to see up to 10% crypto, and we're seeing right now about 5 to 10% crypto in this lobby, which is great to see a little bit of crypto, because during GLL time, we knew we weren't going to see much.
And it's probably because you got those buffs. And this last week we saw Gibraltar. We know everybody's been talking about the Scout, but not many people have talked about crypto. And the buffs were the reason people were saying you might see him. And one of the reasons is because it no longer, that EMP that his drone can send out without just scouting, of course, it allows you to burst, deal damage to shield, destroy traps, but it used to affect your teammates. Now no longer affecting your teammates' traps and no longer destroying their shields. The crypto will still lose 50% of his shields, but his teammates will be free. So you can send in that fire squad, go ahead and dominate after you really destroy your enemy's resources.
Now look at the Smile side as they think about heading north towards sorting as well. Also want to get your thoughts, Rain. You and I haven't talked about this yet. Some pro players, right when the patch hit, kind of saying that the increase of HP from 1 HP to 30 on the drone, not a big deal. I think we're seeing that it actually does make a difference, because if you now, any type of spray or shot from any weapon will not guarantee you taking down that drone.
All you have are longbows, you've got wingman, I think you maybe have other limited weapons. I mean, maybe a charge from a triple take, but you will not be able to, with an R301, R99, even a PK, unless you get lucky, be able to finish that off, and that's what most people are running. So Crypto's drone has a second life. It could just be an inch around a corner, and it stays alive, and that's valuable intel when it's alive in a fight.
Yeah, Sentinel's already on their normal rotation all the way now to fuel. They're sitting pretty on 3 blue armors, but to be honest, with all of sorting on a hot drop, you might expect them to exit that rotation even healthier. However, they're going to be happy to now continue their normal rotation up towards the high ground.
And I like that they're all equipped with blues here. Got a few shield cells. You see Synox, he's got kind of what he wants. R99 wingman, again, it gives you a lot of pressure, and not running the PK is an option, and it's just, I think, a flavor option, because a lot of players say, give me the burst. You look at a player on NRG like Ace, he says, I want PK wingman all day long, but give me an R99, I will take that as well. Some players say, no, wingman R99, I'm not touching a PK right now, that's just where I feel comfortable. Someone else can run that role for us.
And let's also not forget, just in case you didn't catch the open qualifiers yesterday, Sentinels, as we said, touted as the second best team, arguably the best if you look at it in terms of aggression in North America, made it in on a tie break, tied for 7th with 16 points. So 1 point difference, and they would not be joining us in this lobby or at the first major for the Apex Legends Global Series. A crazy story, but they now have an opportunity to kind of regain that title as NA #2. And to be honest, they're going to be looking for an even better performance to take the NA title all up.
And when you talk about performances, we know that TSM, going back to it, is in the back-to-back-to-back position. They're trying to win 4 in a row of major tournaments here. And even though this is Apex qualifying for a major, a lot of these pros still consider this a major, as you see Pride actually looking to fire some G7 scout shots as well. That's the golden G7. That's a good thing to have in a game like this. But I just would say that you have to consider that these placement points are for something huge. They know they're playing for 500K. They know they're playing for room and board to be able to have an opportunity for that in Arlington in March. And so you're going to see a lot of teams have a chance to make history here.
Absolutely. Now this is the PTM side. Thermites are out as they are now here at Drill, looking to clear out some buildings of their own. Like you said, not only are they playing for that room and board and also an opportunity at a lot of cash and a lot of points, but also, of course, seeding points as well at that major. There's a lot at stake here. They've made it this far. Just like Lulu said on the couch, they got to be proud of what they've done so far. However, there's a lot more Apex yet to play, and this really is just the kickoff to what will be a fantastic year for the very first Apex Legends Global Series.
413 light ammo bullets. I mean, that is a lot of ammo, and I think it's showing you exactly where these players feel comfortable. If you have that, you're starting to just feel comfortable with a G7, because the amount of poke you can do, the shots you can waste on a weapon like this, it's huge, especially with that extended mag, taking your bullet size from 10 to 20 on the G7, which gives you a lot more room for error while also cleaning up the target.
Yep, now we're looking at the Oculix side as they're going to go through Hill Valley, going south towards Train, looking to try to find some comfortable area as well. Ray Rain on this team, he is their Wraith. He was present in Poland. We got to see a little bit of action from him, but a 63rd place exit sent them out of the tournament pretty early.
And that's unfortunate as well. Quality players, and been having some good performances today and over the past qualifiers. Obviously getting here means they're doing something right. Taking some high ground. Is he there? I don't think he is, and he used the grapple already. They've got to time the jump better. We'll see if Ray Rain can make it.
It's a bad zip. It's a bad zip.
And Phony's got to be taking a little heat from that, because you just can't make those mistakes at this high level when you're trying to do it.
Absolutely not. That's an expensive zip. It's really avoidable. And you saw, I think you and I both had the same feeling when he was going up that zip. I think he knew it as well. He even exited the zip early to try to get the grab, and it was not enough. So they're going to have to take the old-fashioned way into Train Yard. But they actually get a very easy route into Train any later in the game, and it's likely that that trip and that trek into Train would become even more difficult. Evan, let's talk about the circle we're seeing here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things still in the circle. We have essentially all of Drill, all of Train, all of Hill Valley. And at this stage, based on the scrimmage results we've seen, a lot of the teams in this lobby are not going to know exactly where this is going to pull. We even have a lot of Skyhook Pass still in as well. Any thoughts on where this could end up?
I mean, I think you see Drill Site being completely bunkered in by TSM.
Yep.
And that, to me, would give me a lot of signs. If I knew that was
Sentinels
TSM right there, and Sentinels, they're bunkering up. They're saying here, I think Drill Site is a huge possibility. So I would just basically go on it, and players do that. They say, okay, where's TSM going? Where's Sentinels going? We may not know, but hey, if we're with them, we're probably not making a back call.
Absolutely, and Rain, you bring up a great point there. Those are both path teams, right? And teams are looking for where are these paths going early on, especially teams that are getting the immediate beacon off the drop. You want to follow, if you're a Gibby team, you want to get path intel. TSM and Sentinels, not only do they offer great intel in terms of their experience, end-to-end circle knowledge, but also having path, they're also going to have that in-game knowledge.
Yeah, if you're playing against winners as well, happening to be the top of the bracket, you know that if they're messing up, I mean, at least you're in a position where these guys have been doing well so far. Why not? You see the crypto drone coming in. Is this an EMP that they're trying to set up? You see Bronzy is down. It's just P-Fitter and Timmy. They're running away from this because the crypto is pursuing, and so this is something you got to be careful about. No way to destroy the drone safely. They're just going to keep backing up.
Absolutely. That crypto is in a whole new ballpark of intensity and really danger in terms of what we've seen in the game so far. Now you do see actually teams running from that crypto drone, trying to avoid especially a 2v3 here. But we saw some great games from Timmy, P-Fitter, and Bronzy yesterday. Fantastic to see them through some very disciplined play in terms of the way that they set up on different areas of the map. Very elaborate armor juggling, bringing blue armors all the way back up to top drill at mid-map, things like that. And a lot of great discipline and calling from Timmy. We saw yesterday, if you didn't catch his scrims, you can catch those on his Twitch VODs as well.
Yeah, and P-Fitter, Timmy, Bronzy, these guys are minds of the game. Bronzy as well at that Season 3 capture event with Lulu and I and Rogue Huskers, and you could tell he was just so animated about what was happening in all aspects of the pro scene, and you believe that knowledge comes with them too in tournaments and moments like this. It's why they're here. Going for a respawn. Now, this isn't as risky as you would think because they already are known to be in this area, and people at this point aren't going to risk chasing this because they're in a position where they feel the circle is going to end. However, scouts make this a very dangerous drop. I imagine he's going to get shot as he leaves the air. I hope he just survives and hits the ground.
Yeah, here we're now going to go check in with actually the side of Stinky. Now, keep in mind, if you're just joining us, didn't catch yesterday's open qualifier, these guys came out of nowhere to place first, but look at the shots coming in, forces the Q on the Wraith. We'll have to back up, of course, going to be able to just stay alive. The only thing they have to possibly worry about would be the pressure from Skyhook. Still possible that someone could be late rotating through Skyhook, but it would be very late. But back to this team, if you didn't catch them yesterday, they actually outplaced Rogue, TSM, and the Golden Guardians in their lobby with 43 points in their semifinal. To put that into perspective, they beat the side of Rogue by 11 points. Also, TSM by over 20, so really big games from them yesterday, and there's a reason that we have our eyes on them today.
I mean, they're pretty good. Those teams are pretty good that you mentioned. I don't know. I wouldn't want to play them, but it seems like Mooman and these guys have no problems.
No, not at all.
And neither does Team Stinky. So Golden Guardian, Stinky, these are two teams we've been following over the course of these last 2 days, looking to see what they'll do, because they are names that already are known, already performing, but could really blow up here if they took top 5, even won this qualifier, securing not only that prizing, but also just a lot of clout. I mean, that's really one of the things that's up for grabs here, a lot of clout amongst professionals.
I like the decision also to just instead go north straight through Skyhook Pass into Skyhook, because they knew they had so much time. They have so much ability to kind of just rotate northwest here, take the long way in. They did not need to force themselves into Hill Valley. I mean, you got a crazy route ahead of you. If you're trying to approach Drill, you're also highly visible from Train Yard.
Totally.
It's just a bad route. So instead, they're able to go all the way back through Skyhook. They can even pick up a little bit of extra loot here and take their time as they make this rotation. They also still have a balloon option. It would be pretty risky depending on how far they want to take that, but they certainly have given themselves just the opportunity to plan this rotation a bit more.
And in high-level competitive, these balloons are new to season, to these seasons of being so effective because of the distance. That, in Season 2, you could take a balloon because it was fast to keep your 20 kill bomb going.
Yeah.
Season 3, you take it because it's like it'll take an hour unless you don't take the balloon, because the map is so big and it is such a sniper meta. But with that sniper orientation, then you're going to see people also a little less eager to do that, because you put yourself in an exposed situation.
And here we actually see Rogue in the tri-choke, and they have it set up very well. Honestly, this is probably the closest parallel you'll actually see to a Kings Canyon scenario on the map, if you remember the Kings Canyon tri-choke. Really similar scenarios that you'd see teams set up like this with the high ground. We saw a lot of that early on, so they're going to hold this tri-choke for the time being and hope that things could end on them.
Yeah.
Not the most common. Here we go. Now some action heating up. We see Casellos dropping down, gets that knock as well. He will go down to the Gibby immediately. So that was going to actually be Nighthawk taking down Casellos with that PK in the feed.
And it seems like they were running away Aqualix from another team, and it ends up Casellos trying to get a point, and that was the smart play, I think. If you could have finished him off, obviously the shields now with the changes over a couple patches ago, so much harder to finish somebody off and thirst them if you do not have that fight won or in your favor. But I do believe Rogue here is in a nice spot. You have the tri-pass like you were mentioning, but it's so available to rotate to drill site or to get out on the backside of that if it does pull to the other side. So this is one of those things that give Rogue a lot of options. One of the reasons I like them as a team, they plan ahead and they give themselves multiple win conditions to be successful.
Yes, I like that as well. I think they do have the southern exit, the northern exit, and they can gatekeep until they have to make that decision. Rogue is a team that we've been talking about really on a heavy upswing. 7th place at the X Games, 10th place at Poland, but GLL just last month, a 3rd place finish for them. It's their best finish to date at a major event, and I think it really has signaled that they are part of that top 5, if not top 3 conversation. They've also found themselves now with a lobby where they can easily put up a top 3 or better if they play these games right. They've already got a win today in that last game, game number 2 on our Uncharted Territories end circle.
And remember, we're looking at these top 5 teams in TSM, Rogue, Lil Poggy, Sniper Abusers, and Pro. So far, I haven't seen any of them fall, and so they are still gaining points, extending their lead amongst these teams. So expect to see if one of them gets in that kill feed, maybe a little bit of added pressure now from the rest of the lobby or the players that might be fighting, saying, should we push this? It's not griefing. We just want them to stop earning points. And look at this. This should be G-Scout heaven for Aqualix.
This is what we were talking about. You want to avoid this Hill Valley Civil War trek if you can. It is just an open field.
Oh, mama.
And there's a reason that we saw teams rotating north into Skyhook instead of taking this route, but it's actually going to be the Aqualix push that is coming through. Thermites are out as well, and they are not stopping or slowing down, flying in, taking out fences. Let's see what they can find here if they're able to get any knocks off the break. No, but it's actually Lou
They're down.
who gets the first kill.
This is big, though. The PKs are coming in huge, and it looks like a Qualix push, but they get pushed right back, and they end up going down. Ray Rain does find Silence is golden, though, but it seems like that was just a mess from a Qualix, a push gone wrong. Those Thermites weren't in where the position they wanted.
And that was Slurpee G also taken down on the Griefer side, so a whole mess. And there's a reason we talked about that part of the map. Hill Valley, not easy to fight through. A lot of aggression coming out, and we just see 6 squads go down like that. To be honest, in a lobby with this amount of skill, Rain, that's a lot of teams to exit at that round.
Absolutely is, and you're seeing the rotation on rotation, the little things. When you see someone go, you're trying to have them be the second party so you can be the third party. They engage on a fight, and then you pick off, like Carrion Birds, the winners of that engagement. And it seems like Bronzy, with that intellectual mind we're talking about, knowing the game so well, and Timmy, the comms are on point. They are approaching it, picking off the shielding, getting their resources up so that they can get ready for these final fights.
And like you said, they're able to just get the spoils of that battle. And we are definitely still seeing Rain, you called it perfectly, pulling towards Drill, TSM, and Sentinels making that early call to set up there, and so far it has paid off for them. GG guys will have to push across Hill Valley as well. It won't be too easy. However, there's a very good chance that every single building in Drill, even underneath the buildings in Drill, they're going to be Watsoned up. So they might have an okay route towards Drill. Getting into Drill will be a very different story.
Right there in front of us, 316, where those fights are happening. That is the biggest control point of rotating into Drill, because that high ground is often in these final circles, and it shuts you down from any angle. Look at this open space. You're going to have to Wraith Portal there, and they know it. Pride. Apex finding his way to just use that G7 Scout and see if they can get this solo player, but it looks like it is not going to happen. Nathan actually getting taken down by Rogue. Sweet. And so there are a couple of kills. This is going to be a little bit of mayhem, Broth.
Like you said, PTM with this high ground, it's also in the next zone, so they're going to hold this for the next few minutes.
It's
as
so
teams
strong.
are going to start flying through Hill Valley. They're trying to get these free shots, get any free kills that they can.
And if you have ordinances here, you know you can get a kill. She cannot drop that Watson ult in time. This should do damage, and it is. The Thermite goes in as well. Someone's trying to pick that kill off, but they're exposed. They can back off here. They've got the Watson generator. No ordinances can get up. PTM sitting pretty with 11 squads left.
This is a great spot to be. That's what I was talking about right there. You know, with the types of buildings that we have in Drill, teams are going to be set up inside the Drill buildings, but you can absolutely be guaranteed, just like we saw at GLL, that there are going to be teams who are fully Watsoning up the bottom as well, depending on exactly where they think we're really going to end here. And you do start to see that next circle where it's going to be. Things are going to move even further west.
And you can look at PTM, where they were sitting in those standings. It was one of those things where you say, these guys are showing up, but only 1 point as far as their earlier 2 games. So this could be a huge difference maker for them, but they're going to have to go against teams like Rogue. Full 3-man, still in prime control, prime position, to have an impact in these final 10 teams.
Yep, Husker's going to just slow heal on this ult, and you know, we used to, if you think about early Apex Legends, there was arguments about low ground versus high ground. To be honest, it's all dependent on the end circle. It's all dependent on the exact building type. Yep. Oftentimes, that low ground is not as disadvantageous as it might seem. But if you're just joining us here, a recap of the first 2 games. TSM right now in first place with 30. Rogue in second with 24. And Little Poggies with 23. That's your top 3. 10 squads left in our game number 3 here at the very first Apex Legends Global Series online event.
And it looks like it's Timmy and P-Fitter as well. They've lost Bronzy, it seems like. But it does seem to be, no, Bronzy here, he's up high, so he's looking at his teammates. He's taking the high ground. I love this approach. They're coming from 2 different angles. They don't know where the third is. They're focusing on Bronzy, but P-Fitter and Timmy make it into the building, and the Thermite hits.
Look at that, and somehow Bronzy beautifully dodges a bunch of shots, but just as soon as I say that, loses all shields, and HP needs to get the cover. He goes down right away. Also a shot from the north, needs to be careful. Now looking at the RCO squad as well.
And this is big too as well, because they end up finding Bronzy, and they find Lou. So these are a few teams dropping. G-Dolphin ends up cleaning up Mooman, and Sentinel Zoms ends up going out just while RCO White and Gabe his money just sit in this building. So prime position is now starting to pay off for these teams in the top 7.
Yep, Stinky did go down in the feed. You might have caught that, as well as the GG guys. TSM still putting up more kills on the board as well. Now we're checking in with the TSM side.
R301 for Hal. Not the biggest burst, but it's better damage per bullet than the R99. He's going to try to pressure it out there. Blue shields that he's fighting on the left. They know that's a vulnerability. 11 teams watching, only 2 kills are a name. That's big damage. 137 almost knocked him there. But does he want to push?
Let's see if he jumps up. Also PK in hand. If there's one guy in the PK, starts to go up, but he's now in a 1v3, immediately knocked down. Reps is the only one left. He will go down. That is TSM out.
And top 7 going down. Teams are going to be happy about that. Still so many points on the board. This is where it starts to be money. If you're trying to climb up in the rankings, top 4 starts to add 4 to 5 to 7 to 9 to 12. And RCO is looking really strong right here in this house.
And here's also the question. RCO, by the way, in the standings, if we look exactly where they are, they're in number 8. They need a big game here. The story also that we started at the beginning of the game, Sentinels has a real opportunity to strike here to get back into the top 3. They are quite far away now. They are in 12th with only 9 points. They need a big game 3 if they want to come out with a great performance here.
And I don't know if that has to be Watsoned up or they're out of Thermites. They clearly aren't. But you can tell that there's so many teams hiding up there and to the left. But look at it, it's Snipe Down and G-Dolphin and BCJ. They are the team that RCO White keeps fighting, but they go up because the circle is moving in, Brob, and this is an engagement they gotta win.
How does he stay alive here somehow? All the attention gets diverted from him. More great scout shots as well. Now, just like that, 5 squads left in the game. Make it 4.
And they take him down, and that is a full wipe by the Sniper Abusers, and they take the high ground now. Anakin, what do you have to say about that? RCO White have to move out of the house, but an R99 deletes. It looks like Brood here, and BCJ as well still alive. This is strong.
Massive in hand for BCJ on the high ground. More damage coming out there on a downed opponent. Also notes he might need to drop down here. 2 squads left here as it's just them, and I think that's going to be, yes,
that's
it's
it.
Sniper Abusers gets a game number 3 win.
Oh my God. Snipe Down. And that squad not doing any sniping there. That's all Mastiff action, and that's all just execution, man.
And really, that's also them picking up from yesterday. This is a brand new squad. Keep in mind, Snipe Down just joining forces with BCJ and G-Dolphin. They only had about a week. There was a few days where they were actually playing Gibby. They go back to Path, and they actually win. Big change, and they win their group yesterday. They win their semifinal. Now here they are winning game number 3. And they're right in the mix, too.
Brof, you know, the thing, too, is that Snipe Down always somehow finds a way to be involved, to be competing. He's one of the best competitors I've seen, and you've known him for a long time in so many other professional sports. But for me, the big thing is that G-Dolphin and BCJ, he said it from the start, I've never had better synergy than playing with these guys, and it's proving. Big win.
Yeah, big win. Snipe Down's back on the Wraith role, like we said. He's also back in the IGL position. I think that's where he feels comfortable. If you got to watch Poland when he was playing with 0-0 and Mimu, 2 temporary teammates, he felt really good calling for them, and it's a big win for them. I think another story we got to highlight is Sentinels. We have to see exactly where they ended up in that game. I believe it was right around the top 5-ish. Depending on the amount of kills. I mean, they're a high-kill team, so that could be a big performance, but we're going to have to wait till we see the leaderboard.
And remember, top 5, I mean, it's what, 4 points maybe?
Yeah.
4, 3? It's not that much, so they do need those kills. I mean, Snipe Down right here, with those kills and Sniper Abusers, I could see them having an 18 to 25-point game potentially. I mean, it was a strong performance from them. 2 squad wipes towards the end. I mean, that's another 6 points on top of a 12-point initial win. So this is actually changing the game quite a bit. They jumped themselves up into strong contenders to take first place.
Yeah, it's going to be a great games number 4 and 5. But with that, we want to go ahead and break down all the action. So it's back to the Legends Lounge with Fallout, Lulu, and Blaze.
Thank you so much, Bravo. If you enjoyed that crazy finish to game number 3, you, of course, can get details on everything competitive at playapex.com/ALGS. What a game 3 that it was with Sniper Abusers.
And that was such a great sight there towards the end of the drill site. Lots of action, John.
Lots of action indeed. Sniper Abusers ending up on top, very well positioned. Break down the final moments of that last game right there. What did you see from Sniper Abusers?
Well, you know, one beauty about Sniper Abusers was their positioning. You got to take a look at that last circle. We had a bunch of teams in the drill site, fortified. They had Watson fences at the top, at the bottom. We had a lot of teams in that last circle. Now, Sniper Abusers, they was over there towards the back end, not inside drill site, but more towards the outskirts. And at first, it didn't look like they was going to get the circle, but they got it towards the end. Then next thing you know, they start connecting with those scout shots. The G7 put out so much damage. You saw the incinerator grenade came out, that sea of fire. They lit them up, got those kills, and then right at the end, they had that little height advantage, and they had the massive as well.
And of course, we see Snipe Down back and his familiar, his love, his first, maybe second love. He's a married man. It's Wraith. To play as Wraith once again, and let me tell you, it's been great to see Snipe Down playing with the character he's so incredibly good at as an aggressive player.
He is, and he's like, how do I say this? He's played with so many different people, and every time he shows up, you've seen him fill for teams, like at X Games, he filled, right?
Yeah.
And even though he's playing with new people all the time, he's showing up. He's one of the most consistent players, I'd say.
And and you know, you think about his career in gaming, how long he's been doing it. We was watching him when we were younger, back in the Halo days, and the man, he got it, ice in his veins. No matter the situation, no matter who he's playing with, he knows how to be there for his team, whether as an aggressor or a support player. Whatever they need, he can do it.
I love that consistency in Apex, consistency in his entire career, and of course the ability to adapt to his teammates. He played a support player in Krakow. Now he's playing a lead Slayer type of role. It says so much about him. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights to show you how the action broke down and how many plays Sniped-Down and G-Dolphin made for this squad. Of course, BCJ from Michigan as well. We saw some interesting things here, though. We saw a lot of early fights and early game action. I think it was
was a mishap.
2 to 3 rings before the last ring. There was only 12 teams left, Lulu.
Yeah, and here it's a third party and a fourth party, and the thing is, like, everyone hates, getting third party, but you have to be smart about it,
Yeah.
You can't third party too early, too late. Yeah, perfect timing with that.
Yeah, the Griefers thought they were in a good position. So did we watching.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the TSM slight misplay, something you don't see happen very often, where they had someone so hurt, but they didn't recognize, well, there's 2 more players up there ready to support you. It's so hard to push up a Pathfinder Ultimate or Zipline without getting absolutely melted. Not only that, but RCO was right there on the second floor.
Yeah, they had a whole other team on that other floor, and they got melted.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Of course, the last moments of the game, it was G-Dolphin and Sniped-Down and BCJ. Sniped-Down gets taken out early. It doesn't even matter. He trusts his teammates. He loves this team. If you talk to Sniped-Down right now, I don't think he's ever had more confidence in an Apex team that he's playing with. He, of course, was with the pickup team at X Games, like you said. He played with the team for a few weeks, Frexes & Co. at Poland. Now he's playing with a team that he feels great about. So great that they flew out G-Dolphin all the way to Vegas.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. These boys, they're getting ready, trying to get that travel paid for our Texas Major coming up this year, and they're looking good. I believe they got 12 points plus for that win.
Just for first.
Just for first, plus all those kills as well. So I'm curious to see where they're going to fall in the standings now.
Yeah, they're already pretty high up on the leaderboard.
They're in third or fourth.
Yeah,
they're in fourth place.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they've jumped a couple slots.
You got to think they're in a great spot. Of course, interesting action and how things have broken down. We saw TSM on top, perhaps a great finish right there.
And they played it smart too. Making sure that they stayed at least in the top 5 towards the end, especially when you're in that first place position. Being that high up, you can make it, different plays than other teams in that final circle. You don't have to be as aggressive as somebody that may be at the bottom that's desperate for that win. So being able to play great early on in this series is, going to work out for TSM.
Yeah, that late game was a fun one to watch. It felt almost like Kings Canyon over towards Skull Town a little bit with the way the action broke down, of course, from a little town all the way to the open. But it's been a long road for these teams and how they got here. Yesterday, they had to grind their way through an open bracket format. The road to the finals were crazy. They were competitive, and we saw teams like NRG Complexity fall to the teams like Stinky, like the Sniper Abusers, who've only been playing for a few weeks. They, of course, played 5 rounds to make it here in a single elimination tournament, 3 matches per round, and of course, the top 20 teams out of 600 plus teams made it here today. The finals with the 20 best teams in North America, according to these online tournaments. Of course, 5 matches total will be played. We've played 3 so far, and the top 5 finishing teams, well, they get not only a ticket to the major in Texas, they also have travel paid for, a huge opportunity.
Definitely a huge opportunity, man. Hey, I remember back in the day when we were playing, we wasn't getting travel paid for. All
right, stipend for $150.
I had to say, hey, Ma, can I borrow a little bit of money?
Can you drive me to the tournament, please?
Can you help me out? I really want to go. And thank God that she let me go, because I'm here today from all the gaming that I was playing. But definitely a big opportunity. Apex, we have such a great season coming up this year. Already, 2 big events that's been announced. And now we got this qualifier. You got the other qualifier coming up in March in Paris. And I'm just happy that we get to get a lot of great action, a lot of great games, and we get to use this awesome studio.
Yeah, I love the format. We got premieres, we got majors, and guess what? We have the qualifiers for that very first major and some updated standings for you to see who's going to get paid for. The top 5 teams in first place.
Actually
topping TSM. We only got 1 point or a few points there, sorry, in that one. It is the Sniper Abusers, led by Sniped-Down, the captain of that team. Of course, Lil Poggy is right behind them in 3rd place. So each team that has placed consistently, that's TSM, and teams that have gotten first place finishes in the top 3, Rogue and RCO White right behind them.
Sentinels has also moved up a little bit, so we're seeing them creep their way up to the top. So I wouldn't be surprised if they keep taking over.
That's a good call out. Can Sentinels go big in the last 2 games? And that's the crazy thing. We have 2 more games to decide. Any teams can pop off here, just like we saw. Team Squidward, another team that you maybe haven't heard of, but a lot of pro players respect them as a top team. They're creeping on that top 5, finishing 7th place as well, Blaze.
Yeah, that top 10 looking pretty textbook. Just kind of from our predictions coming up into the tournament, the Griefers, the controller squad, down there 5 points, number 18. They're gonna have to get some things going. But so far Sentinels, they're number 9. This is a good spot for them. You still got 2 games left. They're gonna have to turn it up in game 4 if they want to make it into that top 5.
Yep. So of course our top 5 teams, a lot of players and names you've heard of. One team you maybe haven't heard of, it's Little Poggies. Brood and Co. have been playing incredibly well. It's great to see, and I gotta say, to all new players, welcome to competitive Apex. The future is bright for each and every one of you, and we're so excited to see you continue to pop off here in the Apex Legends Global Series.
One thing that's great to see for me is I'm happy to see RCO White up in that top 5.
Why is that?
Because, the boy Gabe on the team.
Gabe.
Hey, I like him. I love watching him play back there in Poland. But, especially after getting replaced from his squad and he's over here with the new guys, they're doing good. So far in the top 5 position, 2 games left. They got the travel already, covered at these current standings. But now you have all these teams hunting them down.
Yep.
So they're on the edge, and they're going to have a good game coming up.
They got to perform. And for those that don't know, Gabe, formerly of Team Complexity, got replaced by one of the most beloved people in all of competitive Apex, Monsoon. Complexity then didn't qualify. Gabe did with a team that he joined 2 days ago. I've been there as a player. It is the best feeling in the absolute world, I got to tell you.
He's really coming back with a vengeance there.
He is. So, yeah, he wants it. He wants it very,
It always feels good, especially when you get dropped and your team don't make it, but you make it the whole distance pretty much, and it's like, hey, I tried to tell you. You just wanted to break up the chemistry. Look where you at now. Look where I am.
You get what you deserved. Karma's a thing, even in Apex.
It truly
apparently,
is.
It goes to show. So, crazy finish there in Game 3. Sniper Abusers end up in 1st place. Is that something you expected? I know we all predicted TSM to end up on top, but I want to hear your predictions for the last 2 games. Do you think TSM is going to still finish in the #1 spot?
I mean, there's still 2 more games.
Yep.
They can still do it. But honestly, Snipedown's team, they've been playing consistently, and that's what matters in these games. But, with there being 2 more games left and, as we get closer to the end, we're going to see some teams switch up how they play. They might get a little bit more griefy. So there's still a chance anything can happen.
Griefy, I like that, by the way. Is that a Lulu? That might be a Lulu.
I don't know. We can coin it, though.
We can't
Griefy,
coin it.
yeah.
Lulu
So,
officially making it happen.
there might be teams that they'll switch up and they might try to deny points to another team, kind of gatekeep them from getting that top 5 slot.
Play more aggressive, drop on people early. That's a great call out. Blaze, games 4 and 5, what are you looking out for?
I'm going to have to go with my Sentinels prediction.
Stick with it.
Yeah, they're down there number 9. I think they're going to go very hard in game number 4 to get some points, play aggressive, go for those kills, hit that top spot. I think TSM, they're at number 2. It's 2 games left. All they got to do is pretty much make the top 5 again, get a few kills, play their game. They don't have to be too aggressive on their end as well. But, I'm going to say Sentinels top 3 finish coming into this game. Right. TSM top 3 as well. As far as who's the third, I don't know yet.
I'm going to say, my man Blaze is dropping knowledge right now, making some bold predictions. Any bold predictions for you? Not TSM's going to win. That's not a bold prediction. Anything in your head? Do you think Lil Poggy is going to stay in that top 5?
I think with top 5, we'll have 2 known teams and 3 free agents.
Whoa, that's a bold prediction if I've ever seen it.
2 known team, 3 free agents.
Yes.
That's not a bad prediction,
I
actually.
like that. I like that a lot. I mean, would you consider like an RCO White to be in the free agent category? Because they're an org, they're a signed team.
They're on the border,
On the
but I wouldn't be
cusp a little bit
surprised
there,
if they do creep their way.
Interesting.
We can say new kids on the block, Yeah. 2 vet teams that we're very comfortable with, familiar with, and then you got 3 new squads on the board. So
I'm looking out. And
I like the prediction. We'll see if it's right.
You and I both. I'm excited. There's a lot of teams here who have players that came all the way from Europe. Of course, that's G Dolphin on Team Sniper Abusers. Nasky came all the way from Europe to play with his squad as well with PvP and co. I'm excited to see what they can do. Of course, game number 4 is locked in. It's loaded. It is ready to go here. A lot of craziness about to ensue, and to bring you the action and break down the craziness, it's Bravo and Rain Day.
All right, thanks so much, Fallout Rain. If we were excited about the results coming into game number 3, I think it's safe to say we're pretty excited about the results going into game number 4. You called it out right away. It's a 24-point game from the Sniper Abusers.
And let's just put that into perspective. Game 1 and 2 were 20 points total. So to have a game 3 that's 24, more than 2 games combined, and a little bit more on top of that, I mean, Sniper Abusers and Snipedown, these guys have to be feeling good.
Yeah, it's the biggest performance of the day that we've seen in all of North America. A huge performance from them. And also now the question is, Can TSM stay exactly where they are, and will Sentinels make a run? They've started it, right? They went from 12th to 7th, so Sentinels is starting to do some great work. Now as we're jumping into game number 4 here in our North American Finals for the Apex Legends Global Series Online Tournament number 1. As a reminder, teams here will be heading to the March Major, but now fighting for seeding points as well as those top 5 spots here. That's what they're after across these 5 games.
Check out Play Apex on Twitter if you guys want all the updates for all the cool things happening, especially tonight. I think there's a nice little something going on. Around some new champions, some new legends coming out in Season 4. And so right now we've got some legends to cast, so we'll spend our time on that. TSM, Snipe Down, BCJ, G Dolphin. This is the team I really want to focus on for off the start. As they start the party
here we go, Rain!
Boy, yeah, let's just get it going here.
This is what we came for, and it's the party at the Mirage Voyage, and it's always a good time.
This is what we came for? I mean, I was going with the song. We can go ahead and get a freestyle in if you want, bro. But
you know what I love? I've seen it actually even in late game. There's teams that will continue to hit the Mirage Voyage party, and it kind of goes both ways. It creates total chaos around the map, as you just heard, but also the team that's starting the party. Speaking of starting parties, Nighthawk is already down. Mopork's in trouble as well. Whoa!
Wow.
That is going to be the side of MSK already out, eliminated off the break.
And Team Smile, they're smiling all about that. MSK was number 10 with 14 points, and Smile, they were just trying to get involved with 8, so that's already 3 points for them. They're already closing the gap and then some, taking out a competitor who was in front of them in the leaderboards.
I mean, that's Apex Legends, folks. You can go from a full-on dance party to a squad wipe in seconds.
That is truly tragedy.
It is.
I mean, Shakespeare would be proud.
And it's also, it's a metaphor for a lot of the things that we have to go through.
I mean, that's how life is. Right?
That's true. Absolutely. Now checking back in with the RCO side, it's going to be Gabe, Xenial, and Hill. You heard a lot of talk about these guys from the analyst desk, and for good reason. They're looking pretty good as they're looking to have a great performance in game number 4, game number 5, climb into one of those top 5 spots.
Number 5 in 26 points to their name. But a very strong performance across the day, and this is what I like. It's consistency. They haven't had any of those huge games like we saw last round from Sniper Abusers, but they've been good, and that's what you need from a team who is going to qualify for an event like this. You don't have to put your best game out right now, but you do have to do the right things at the right time and play situations as varied and crazy as they can be in Play Apex in the smartest way possible. And you can see that Gabe is on a mission, not only to prove his old team wrong, but to prove this new team has a lot of future great moments for them happening in Apex.
Absolutely. And speaking of proving points, you actually have Stinky here, who once again led their semifinal by quite a margin over Rogue, TSM, and the Golden Guardians. However, I believe only 7 points to their name at this stage, which is unfortunate for them. And I think if they want to have a lot more confidence going into that March Major, they need to make sure that they make games 4 and 5 count.
Yeah, and I think that's the big question. If you do have these issues going on after you come off a high, right? You do it great the first time, and they're like, all right, cool. Now we're going to actually record it. Yep. And then you have to say, what, you know, how did I do it? What was happening? They did this great thing, but now it's when it counts, and they're not stepping up to what was a 42-point first-place finish in the earlier round. So we'll hope to see and follow along with Moonman, Kubsky, Hierarchy. I know Hierarchy actually got picked off pretty early around this time last game, so it might have just been some bad rotations and some bad luck. I expect to see them bounce back here.
You see pings already on train from the Sentinels side, likely looking for a train yard finish. They're on their normal rotation and timing once again through drill towards the high ground. Looks like they might, instead of going to high ground, which we often see, they might actually go towards mine pass, which will give them a fast route into train.
Yeah.
Potentially a vault key in hand as well.
And that is one of the things we have to consider. Vaults have not played a big impact in these pro games, but they could.
Yes.
And they absolutely could, as far as not only getting stuff from the vault, but baiting things from the vault. If you see that somebody knocks down one of those drones that have a vault key in it, you might just hide in the cavern and wait for them to show up and honestly just deny. Or when they go in, then try to kill them and take all their stuff.
Absolutely. The vault's adding some interesting twisted gameplay, but speaking of, shots coming in on Senox right away, forced to retreat and also forced to pop a battery as they do start to flank around towards Mine Pass. Once again, we saw the pings on train. They're likely going to try to get through Mine Pass as fast as they can. They could potentially hold up in the Mine Pass, but more often than not, you're going to want to get up and into train as fast as you can.
Absolutely, and if you can see Abrelele and TSM, they've already kind of done exactly that, rotated as quickly as possible, and they're setting up for their teammates. Now, you're going to see a lot of people actually drop drop equipment, and it's going to look weird for an Apex player because you're saying, that's my gun. Why would I drop it? They're holding it for their teammates. Sometimes teams will actually pick up a gun they're not going to use, fully equip it, just to drop it for the player on that team who either runs the scout or runs the PK, and they'll swap with a wingman that maybe they were picking up for them. So these are the little things you see in competitive to be more efficient in your looting patterns that you don't normally see in your games.
You're also going to see players do that not only with weapons, but also armor, of course, to provide armor swaps.
Yep.
And if you caught any of Timmy's games yesterday on the Golden Guardians, also some really great stuff when they were holding top tower, where he was like, throw the junk loot off. Do not allow an energy mag to screw up you getting an armor swap.
Absolutely.
So they actually, one by one, take each piece of loot they don't need, throw it off of the edge, right? Really clean looting there from them. Speaking of, here we are now on board with the side of Timmy, P-Footer, and Bronzy on Golden Guardians. They will pick up that kill right there on screen. That's going to be FVK that goes down, 18 squads left.
Yeah, FVK not doing so hot right now. They've only got 1 point to their name. I mean, that's, again, going to be them out of the tournament. It's going to be very, very hard to see them getting top 5 here. So they're going to have to step things up for Arlington, Texas if they do want a different result. But Timmy and Bronzy, they've been in the thick of things, but they seem to always have one of their members, whether it's P-Fitter or whether it is Bronzy, down and out for the count in these crucial situations.
Also love Timmy's movement, the way he is able to hit those grapples, really send himself into great positions as well as get himself out of jail so often. Now we're looking here at Slurpee, though. Not the best performances so far from him. He's on the side of Griefers as they're going to look to put up some great numbers in games 4 and 5.
This is the team I think last time actually was giving them problems. And I think you could see Timmy just saying, I'm going to do it again. The grapple instantly into the shield swap. And a nice syringe. He's going to get nearly back to full. Remember, he's got the golden helmet. What does that mean? It means that his Pathfinder grapples are going to come up faster and his ultimate as well. All ability cooldowns will be reduced by about 30% with that golden helmet, and he's using it to the best of his ability. If he sees go, and he might see it here if he sees a shield crack, he can grapple forward and try to complete that kill, but he's going to go for the res instead.
Perfect little nook on this rock crevice. Very lucky spacing there. The fact they're able to get that res off, you know, P-Fitter's going to go ahead and heal up, and they will live to fight another day.
Smart stuff, and I love the way that sometimes you can't win a fight, but you can delay it, and that's what Timmy's doing. He just wants to do damage. He doesn't want to push in unless he sees it's absolute green light, no problem. In the bubble sometimes says it, 99 to the dome, Rob, and it looks like things are heating up.
And look at this, he has help as well. The whole team is there. That is going to be it. Yes, indeed, they do make the push there on Slurpee G, and they will get that final kill against that Griefer side. Now, taking a moment to breathe, they'll have a chance to loot up once again and heal up. And now we're looking at the side of Team Squidward. Once again, Nathan, Lou, and Rocker. These guys got 4th and 6th place at GLL, and they're looking to continue that momentum here in our opening event of the Apex Legends Global Series.
And playing with Frex, who's now on NRG. We know that we see Lou, who used to play with Monsoon, who is on that Complexity team that replaced Gabe his money. So there's a lot of kind of inter-family kind of situations going on here, but big scout play.
Jeez, look at that. Rocker just lining up those scout shots perfectly. Nathan and Lou, look at Nathan and Lou flying in immediately. They're going to go ahead and try to pick up these 2 extra kills as well. That first kill does come in, and now looking for those last players.
Give me that purple, he says. Just hits the headshot, and the scout cleans it up. But you could see when he dropped 1, this is the decisiveness that these teams have. You know that you have a 3-man team, and if you drop 1, they've got 2 at max. So why not press the advantage? I mean, you're never going to get a better one, and especially if you hit a white shield, you know, okay, they're not geared up, they're not ready to fight. Let's go ahead and seal the deal.
And that's what I love about that. Once Rocker got that first down, Lou and Nathan are already on the ground, right? They are ready to fly in and pick up those kills. They're making it look way too easy, and now also picking up that kill on Overpowered as well. Now checking in here with Team Stinky. Once again, as we said, a team with only 7 points, pretty far down in the table. They will need great games 4 and 5 to change that story.
And that was a big deal, actually, taking down PRO, which was actually a top 6 team with 20 points. And they've been doing so well. They had that great game versus TSM and, of course, Sniper Abusers as well in that final circle. But it does seem like it is going to be their end for Game 4. And so that's going to be another position in the top 10 that people can move ahead of. So Moonman TV, Hierarchy, Kubski having a much better show of it. Already in top 15. They've earned themselves a point, trying to get to the top 10.
And Rain, it's a pretty similar end circle right now in terms of where we are with this round 2 close. We're once again in Hill Valley, so you're not going to see too much dissimilar gameplay for these next few minutes.
You're absolutely right. And this is really power position right here, because any rotations coming behind you, you can secure no one is going to be on your flank. And that's one of those things that just gives you confidence and peace of mind. And sometimes in moments like this where you have two teams on your left and right, you do not need a team behind you. And so just holding that down with the Watson fences, it's an important thing. It will take some time, but as this ring closes, they will be in a good position, as well as P-Fitter and Bronzy and Timmy, who they had some heroics to survive. Timmy really the leader in that situation.
I mean, yeah, amazing stuff here from Timmy that we saw. Great movement to keep his team in the game. And also now in 14 seconds, we're going to find out where this is going to pull. You have to think it could be something like Capital City Southwest.
It could be.
Along those cliffs, maybe along the tunnel. You also have to bet that there's a team already that's going to have tunnel at this stage in the game. We're going to have to see if that's the case, but it's going to be the Aqualix side who's actually top of Hill Valley Tower.
And this is not a bad spot to be, but you could see it is not going to end where it did before, near drill side. It seems like it could be pulling towards the southern edge of Train Yard, Mine Pass, or even on the other side near Hot Springs. And so this is something they're definitely aware of, and they know this is not safe for long. A minute and 58 to rotate. They're going to do just that here as some charge rifle shots start to wail in the distance, trying to pick them off.
And they're also going to have to look at some serious chokes coming up, because this massive rock that is in the center of this ring right now, if you think of it, it's to the east of the train yard, it's to the southwest of Capital City. This is one of the largest pieces of cliffside in the game. You have very, very long routes around. You need to go through Mine Pass or tunnel or that central choke from Fuel to Capital City to get to this part of the map at all. That's why you see a team right here like Stinky who's trying to make that route as fast as they possibly can.
And Stinky really having something to prove here. First place, as we mentioned, in the group of TSM, in Rogue, and Fire when they were qualifying into this finals, and they're looking to show the world why they deserve to be in that position. Still 14 squads left though, Brav, and really the only thing that missing from this, Moonman, purple shield, but only a level 1 extended mag on the Wingman, and so that is going to hurt if you get into a duel with someone who's got a level 3.
Here's the TP coming out from Kubsky. We'll have to see exactly where he throws that. He actually throws it towards the train yard side, so that means that teams are betting on this pulling closer to train and Mine Pass on the western side of the tunnel and not the eastern Cap City side. We'll have to see if that bet pays off.
And you look at this, the charge rifle right now, we've seen it more and more in these games than we have in what feels like half a season, because the nerfs really sent it into a different position of priority for all of these pros. What a thermite there, though. He should clean it up. He's got the hit scan as well. 29-5. Gets away.
That path is so low. I cannot imagine what the actual HP count is there. Almost certainly below 10.
Half.
But still now with that charge rifle in hand, like you said, with that big scope and a few extra kills coming in, and also some scout fire popping across as well.
This is a good spot for RCO White. I mean, they're in a great position on the leaderboards. This is putting them in a great top 5 spot, but they're going to Wraith Portal out of here. They realize that they are no longer going to be in zone, but they're going to try to do it as safely as possible. The invulnerability of this portal and just the timing, still trying to take high ground, but this is in the middle of things, so he's going to go low ground again, saying, I don't know about that one. That could be a little risky.
It's a much safer decision there, is that, of course, that upper train car going to be much more visible, have a lot more sight lines into it compared to that bottom route. In 30 seconds, we're going to see exactly where this close ends. Some shots here, though, from Sick coming in. That's going to be Sorcerer with the PK that gets that first kill. Mooman will go down.
And this is bad because Stinky need these points here. They have to try to prove this, but Hierarchy's too big of a body, and he falls as well to Onmu, and this is not looking good. I believe that's Full who cleaned it up, and look at this. It's TSM who clean up everybody else as well.
The TSM with a big push there. They know they are not going to be happy with anything less than a first-place finish here in online tournament number 1. Like we said, they are the back-to-back-to-back champions at the past 3 major tournaments.
Oh, and this zone is starting to hurt because people have to play the very edge and get up. And this is a great spot for RCO White. The only issue, Zenial trying to deny any opportunity for people to shoot at him right now as he's healing up. That generator giving him a shield cell and then some as he gets his 100 health back and wastes about 3 syringes, not waste, uses.
And here we go. This is what I was wondering. What is happening on the southwest side of Cap City? And we are getting that question answered for us right now. And it's a whole bunch of Gibby ults and domes are down. Now looking at the Smile side, still Unin and Flower still trying to fight through this. Several squads still on this Capital City side. Anyone that bet a bit wrong on this hill, absolute chaos on the southern glyphs of Capital City. Those teams will go down. That was going to mainly be Smile that was on the receiving end of those blows. And finally, we find out who was in the tunnel. It's the Fire side. You can bet that they've had this locked down for quite some time.
Oh, yeah. And I think that was actually Nathan who comes out on top of that one. So we'll have to wait and see if he is still alive and that squad is moving forward. But, yeah, Fire holding this choke really nicely. And this is such a power position, Brock, because anybody trying to come in from that entirety of that western space is going to be in trouble. And they have access to train yard to poke and move. This is going to be at least 2 circles, potentially, that they are safe. And so this is really, with the Watson fences, a very hard position to lose.
No, absolutely, and they are going to be able to gatekeep both sides of this in 36 seconds. We'll see exactly where things are going to go next as well. We do see some arcs being traded, though, so potentially some arc plays being set up from Timmy and P-Fitter here. Not only are they really talented in the way that they set up their arc plays, but also some great communication during open where they talk about getting into scenarios where they can't be arced. For example, never sitting 3 on a tower, making sure that they are not open to the arc plays that they themselves could be setting up in a few moments.
Very similar to what we've seen in a lot of metas past in Apex Legends with this Watson bunkering, but it's a little bit more freeform, a little bit more freestyle. Season 3 and World's Edge has allowed that for us, and now this is a great spot for a Thermite. You can trap them in. Hopefully they're going to hit them because there is no Watson pylon there yet. It's just a little too far. Grenades landing in awkward positions, and it's just not enough. The pylon destroying attacks on them, though, and Fire are in a good spot, just can't land their own nades.
It's a great spot for their ult. You already saw it's already intercepted 4 now, and they might make the push as soon as some damage ticks come in, but we're not seeing anything just yet. They do need to make sure that they gatekeep from this side. They're probably safe from the west, and it's actually going to be Nathan, Rocker, and Lou of Team Squidward who are trying to make this push into the TP, and now they're going to fight from the pills.
Yeah, and Rocker and Nathan, they know what they need to do here. They have to fight, and they've actually put themselves in a decent position to contest. The problem is this range is better for them because you notice Fire aren't pushing, and they don't have a lot of long range. They want them to come close, but Nathan and the rest of FlyQ and Rocker and Team Squidward are actually having a hell of a time playing at this.
Great shots here coming out of Nathan. Now let's see if they can get the first. Yes, that's going to be 2
one.
dead. Can they find the third? They get the wipe. The push in from the east on Fire. Executed beautifully as they push through. They will overtake them in tunnel.
And look at Lou with just a sliver of health makes it out. The man who lived to tell the tale. And what a movement there. Nathan with the portal, and you go into the void at the perfect time. Sentinels here, though, still in dire, stressful situations, trying to make it out. It's just Retzi. 105, though. That might do it, and it's Sentinels who cleans it up. Synox able to do the deal, but they're not done yet.
Let's see if they can pick this last one. This would be an absolutely huge kill. They've already bitten off way more than they could chew initially if they can pick up this last kill. Out comes the 99, and it's another kill from Retzi. They get out of an impossible situation. They stay in the game and potentially set themselves up to finish at the top of the table by the end of the day. How many times do we see it with Sentinel's reign? They're in the worst set of circumstances, and they come back from the death there. Retzi now on gold armor, Synox on purple. Zombs has been taken down, but they will have to fight a few 2v3s if they want to become victorious.
No respawn beacons either, and so this is just a 2v3 like you mentioned. No way to get that third player back, although one of the beautiful parts of Apex is the ability to do that in most of your games. On move, Vayne and Lion here. One of the up-and-coming teams, I think, as far as showing their stuff in these qualifiers today, and so far showing the stuff that you want to see, especially if you're going to Arlington. A late portal, but it seems like it could be right on time. Throwing him in the thick of things. Almost cleans it up with Eva, but gets arc-starred. Might be in trouble here.
This is very dangerous. He'll go down as well.
Someone has a gold.
I was going to say, that's probably going to be, we'll see exactly who has that. There it is. Gold knockdown is out. Could be the end for them in just a moment. 7 squads still left in this game. Somehow Sentinels, as we said, still in this match as well. Might pick up another one. Retzi shield's all the way down. Has to fast bat.
And he's going to get it. He's got gold armor. This is huge. That might be TSM he's fighting as well. Who is this? Blue gets knocked. This is Reps. TSM on the other side. Reps going to go down. He takes high ground as well. Sentinel's not pushing. He's just got 1. So it's 3 of TSM, 1 Sentinel. There are 3 other squads as well as the Watson interception pylon comes up for the passive gen.
Very well timed there from Reps. Great shots with the wing as well. And somehow they time it perfectly where the pressure comes late from up top and they fight through here. Now 4 squads left. He goes down. Only Hal is left.
That Sentinel's going going up against TSM. They say, you think you're the best? We're going to try and prove it ourselves. Retzi is alive. Sinox is alive. He's got a shield bat. He's got the gold armor, and he gets it off.
Oh my goodness, somehow staying alive. Has to get another heal off. Let's see if he can get another cell or bat. Maybe a few cells here to get his shield all the way back up. 3 squads left here. Sentinels and TSM still fighting.
Sentinels game to lose because Rocker is up top. So is Nathan as well. They're pressuring TSM. TSM can't get out of there. They've lost the high ground. They're going to push now, and you can see it's almost one shot and done, but it's not. It does give Sentinels a chance. It's really who's at the mercy of this Team Squidward because they have full control of this.
Team Squidward going to play this very patiently. They'll push the aggression if it opens up, but only if it is the advantageous position now.
Oh, they got it.
Aberlele who goes down now. Still 3 squads left. They have to get this finish, and that will be TSM out once they finish this gold res. Yes, indeed. TSM now out. It's going to be Sentinels versus Team Squidward, who has the high ground.
And that's all you need. The high ground is so important, and they're just going to wait this one out for a little bit as well because you may not be able to see Sentinels be able to get up there. I mean, they have to run into the zone or take the boxes. They don't have time to do it. I don't know if they're going to even be able to get up top.
Here's the arc. They're going to send in Nathan. Let's see if Nathan gets any damage. They're going to drop all the way down. Senox goes down. Retzi goes down as well. Where is the last player? Let's see if they can get this last one here as they try to find exactly where Zoms might be hiding. Looks like they do it. And yes, indeed, Team Squidward takes game number 4.
What a performance. It's Squidward on top of the world. I mean, I've watched a lot of SpongeBob in my day. Squidward doesn't often get this type of elation.
Squidward's never looked so good.
He's never looked so dang good. I mean, this man went in. He's got a little makeover. But no, honestly, what a performance from them and what positioning as well. And it all started with taking the tunnels from Fire in that crazy fight and risking it all. I mean, Lou, he had health like this.
Yep.
But they ended up making it out, and that puts them in a position to win this entire game.
And keep in mind, they had to make that push. That Watson ult that Fire had up was in the perfect spot. They had to land. Really, it came down to some amazing 99 shots from the entire side of the team that was pushing in their Sentinels that they had to push in on them. Amazing work from that side. And then eventually it was, like you said, Rocker, Nathan, and Lou with some great spray from the 99. They push in, and it's a big push. That, like we said, there's a reason that off of the break, when you see that circle develop, there's a reason that every team wants to get to tunnel, and that was a perfect example of why.
It just gives you so much flexibility of how to access low ground and high ground, and that's something that low ground doesn't have for high ground. High ground can always drop down. They didn't have a path, and that was one of the biggest things when you looked at Sentinels. They had lost their path player, and that was the big issue. However, we did see a little bit of a 1v1 between two teams that are some of the best in North America and traditionally represented by these orgs. Have a little bit of a back and forth. Sentinels did get the win from TSM, but would you call it fair? Because, you know, Rocker, Apex, they did force them off the high ground. TSM was looking good until then.
I think the big story there is that TSM and Sentinels are going to have big points from that game, and they're going to be playing a big game number 5. But to get ready for that one and break down the past game, we're going to go back to the Legends Lounge. It's going to be Fallout, Lulu, and Blaze. Over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Bravo. There is a lot to break down after Game 4. Before we do any of that, though, I have to give credit where credit's due.
You got to, John, because before that game started off, now, I've seen a lot of circles in my life, but the one that Lulu called out right off the drop, she was like, guys, give me a piece of paper. The circle's going right here in the end, outside train. It may go to tracks. It may be under, but it's going to be right there.
And this is the drawing here. She literally predicted the exact ring at the very beginning of the game, and of course, that's where it ended up. Lulu, are you Nostradamus?
And she actually, and I want to say, we brought out the telestrator, but when she drew on the paper, it looked exactly like the ending circle. So I was like, that was impressive. Good call out on the start.
I know that zone all too well. I play this game a little bit, but I lost a 1v1 in that exact location, so I'm a little salty about that. It's burned into my brain.
You're also calling out how each team is going to have to make a bet at which area of the circle it's going to be talking about.
Yeah, it's more likely to pull to that top of the tunnel, right in that little tiny corner, but there's a small percentage that it could pull to the other side, and if you're willing to play that game, it could end really well or really bad. We saw Sentinels being on that bottom side of that tunnel.
Yeah, and we saw some action in that tunnel as well, John, with Sentinels. I don't know if we actually was able to pull that replay from the tunnel, but Sentinels went off down there, trying to escape in a 1v2 situation. And I will like to say that before the game started, I made a bold prediction on what our top 3 might end up being, and I said that we got 2 of those teams in there, and it was Sentinels and TSM, and this was the play. You're gonna see the boy Retzi. He's gonna race up out of there, and now the players pushing down the back end. He takes his teammate banner right away. Peacekeeper out, connects with a shot. His teammate behind him, 1v2 situation at the box, looking for him. R99, the fadeaway, picks up the kill, and they were running for their lives. They knew that they couldn't go too far towards the back end. They would have found themselves in a more difficult position. So they said, you know what, we're going to choose to fight now. And they won it, and they found themselves a top 2 position for winning that fight.
Yeah, and that's why you love Apex, because that was literally a classic 2v2 fight, like you saw in Gears, like you see in Counter-Strike Go, like you see in a variety of games. And at the end of the day, Sentinels comes out on top. They clutch up in that 2v2 box fight. Absolutely insane play right there. Of course, Sentinels, you called it last game. You said they're going to have a big game. They go from 9th place to who knows where. We'll, of course, see on the standings when that gets ready. But a 2nd place finish for them, and they picked up a lot of kills. I know we also got the replay of the end game action as well. The very end game was absolutely insane.
It was crazy.
Because we saw an ArcStar play that was unbelievable. But of course, of Team Squidward, a 1st place finish for them, a team that I predicted to do big things early on in this one. They step up in a big way. So the leaderboards are going to change things up. Of course, we have Lou, Rocker, and Nathan playing as Pathfinder, Watson, and Wraith, making
Congrats to those guys.
huge plays. And again, an ArcStar play was insane. I hope we have the replay in that one too.
Yeah, and you know, that ArcStar play pretty much being, you know, you had 3 teams at the end. You had Sentinels, TSM, and then you had Squidward. And then Sentinels and TSM, they're battling out towards the end at that bottom train cart, really fighting for inches there because it was a narrow fight for a very long time, but TSM going down, and then you're going to see it. They're going to stick their teammate Wraith with the ArcStar, and then Wraith goes down there. She's going to Q in. The ArcStar is going to blow up and get the kills. Now, when you stick Wraith with the ArcStar, the pylon's not going to be able to take the nade off her body. So as soon as she Qs at that point, she's going to be invulnerable and then go out there and make the play.
Yeah, there's absolutely like no, you know, you can't counter this right now, the ArcStar play, and it's huge. You see people using it all the time.
Yeah, it was massive. We were actually questioning, that's the craziest thing. We're sitting there like, why is Team Squidward not third-partying? Sentinels is fighting TSM right now.
Yeah, Redzy had no shield. They could have just dropped down, wiped him out. But
and they actually, we thought they were making a horrible play. We thought they were nervous. We thought they were amateurs. Little did we know they had the ArcStar play ready and up their sleeves, and it ended up working out perfectly. With that said, we still have a top 2. Sniper Abusers with Team Snipe down, and TSM tied for 1st place at 52. Right behind them is Team Squidward. Your boys, Sentinels, Blaze, you called it, and RCO White maintains that 5th place finish. Lil Poggies drops for the very first time behind top 5.
Are we considering Sniper Abusers one of those newer teams, Lil Louie? Because you said we had 2 owner teams. We're going to have three new school teams up in there. In the top 5, and that's what it's looking like to start.
I know Snipedown's been playing with them for about a month. A newer team. They made a big gamble by flying out G-Dolphin all the way from Europe to Vegas, and has it paid off? But here's the craziest part. Look at slots 6 through 10. We got Team Fire, a great team that's been boot camping in Austin, Texas with their coach Yogi, who's been helping them out. They are a phenomenal, probably the most prepared team in my eyes. Golden Guardians, who a lot of people predicted to do big, and Rogue right behind Little Poggies. It's going to be a crazy finish here.
Yeah, and one thing about the finish, I'm curious if our team's going to drop on RCO White, you know, knowing that they are on the cusp at number 5. You know, you got, Little Poggers in there and Rogue, 2 teams that I know they're hunting for that 5th place spot. We're going into our last game to qualify in there, and our top 5 is stacked.
Yeah, I'm excited for Game 5, that's for sure.
Even if, you know, in this last game, if a team doesn't place well, if they stack up some kills early on, it really could. That could be what it takes to push them over the end.
Yeah, Game 5 is going to be crazy. Game 4 was insane. I don't know how you're going to top Game 4. We'll have to see. But we have some replays in action. Lulu, break it down for me. What do we see there in game number 4 early on? We saw some teams die early and, of course, throughout.
Yeah, we saw a lot of teams rotating to train yard pretty early on. And, the Golden Guardians, they res Bronzy mid-game. And they were able to hold on to the very end. They had some great team fights there.
And they took out the Griefers, so they griefed the Griefers early on. The controller players who came from the PlayStation scene, big shot to the Griefers.
Of course, more scout plays. We're seeing that every single game right now.
Yeah, and here's the fight that I think we had a chance to catch the action of, the 2 versus 2 fight. One of them goes down from Sen early, which turns into a 2v2 box fight, and they're stunned from an ArcStar. Somehow manages to clutch up massive plays from Redzy and Sentinels to win this one. You see, they go for the box jump or the wall bounce, and it's a 2v1 in this scenario. So they had an upper hand, they had a slight advantage.
He tried to hit him with a fadeaway. like he went for it in a pressure situation.
And then the ArcStar play. Unbelievable plays
just
come through.
Huge. It's, we thought they were playing scared, but they were playing smart.
And they did a great job of that against the Sentinels roster who got some health. They thought they were really receiving a blessing. Instead, they received an arc star to the face.
Yes.
Ultimately, it is Team Squidward who does it. Massive performance. They now inch into that top 5. The standings got shaken up like crazy. Lil Poggy's no longer there, despite winning game number 2. You made some bold predictions between games 3 and 4, and both of your predictions actually panned out here, so kudos to both of y'all. Blaze, do you think Sentinels is going to maintain that top 5? And then Lulu, any other predictions on your end? Blaze, I'll start with you.
You know what? I think Sentinels maintain the top 5. I don't think that they win the next game. Sniper Abusers and TSM, they're tied, 44 points apiece, I believe. 52 points apiece. I think they're going to be battling out for the first place, most definitely. One of those two teams are going to win it, but I'm actually going to say that our top 5 stays the same. I don't see it changing. I think a lot of teams have an opportunity to break in, but just based off how the flow of this match has been going so far, the flow of this series has been going, our top 5 is there for a reason, and a lot of these teams may take some risk early on by being the last qualifier game as they try to break into top 5, but I think the consistency is there.
I wouldn't be surprised if either Poggies or Rogue kick out RCO. That's my prediction.
RCO's
but
been on the
also,
fringe for a while.
TSM never settles for second, so I think they're still going to frag out and
Finish
take
first.
first for this one as well.
Yeah.
2 hot predictions coming from Lulu.
TSM wins it. RCO stays in top 5.
All right, Blaze is calling it. Same top 5, TSM to win it. We will see. Game 5 is ready. It's locked and loaded. We got Bravo and Rain Day to call the action.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Jumping straight into this game number 5 right now. Some fantastic predictions coming out from the couch, Rain, but also a multitude of possibilities for how this top 5 will net out. You and I were looking at it, but also there's a bubble on the top 5, right? There's several teams that could break in there, as we do see the guys here on the Sniper Abusers getting that immediate beacon around Mirage Voyage.
And look at the BCJ already finding, like you mentioned, the beacon, getting the information on where the next circle is, and that's what that passive does. It's something that you don't often use maybe in standard games because it's not that intense in a normal game of Apex. But in these games, it's so important to be in the best position possible as early as possible, especially when placement matters. And so that's what they're prioritizing. It's a nice location that's usually not so contested near Mirage Voyage.
We are going north. You saw the first ping coming in there from the side of Peach, RKN, and Overpowered. They're thinking it might be even further north along the tracks. Definitely look to see on that mini-map where these teams are pinging to see exactly where they think it might go. But we are headed northwest here in our game number 5.
And that's a team to keep an eye on as well. 21 points. They're definitely in a position to swing the table if they have a knockout game. But, it's not easy to do. We saw teams like Stinky who have had amazing games and performances. They're 8 points now. They're probably out of it, almost guaranteed out of top 5.
Right.
Although all of these teams will still be competing in Arlington, Texas in March, which will be an exciting one, of course, after they get a little practice.
You see actually these guys right here on your screen have the pings actually on the trailers that are all the way north against the track. So we could see them set up pretty early and set up some walls and fences around that area. Now as we go over to the side of Nighthawk and MSK, they're all the way down at Tree. Boy, do they ever have a trek ahead of them.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is? This is one of the only players we're seeing consistently rock that charge rifle, believing in it. Nighthawk TV. I actually really like this, especially if you're not as known on broadcast as some of the other players. It's something that makes you very notable. People say, oh, the one who was playing the charge rifle. I remember that. From a viewer perspective, from a brand perspective, from just a player perspective, it's a nice thing. And people also have to realize that's out there. I know we're all playing scouts, but I do have to realize some charge rifle play might be happening on rotations. And it looks like that sky hook circle, boy, it's going to set up for a fun ending on this game.
Yeah, Rogue, you just saw that intel from their beacon that we are seeing that indeed that even further northern part of Skyhook is where we do get the beacon intel from. Rogue, a team that's been dropping Thermal for a very long time. Thermal has been their drop since before September. Back at the preseason invitational, they were dropping Thermal, so they know this rotation quite well.
And look at this, Devotion Flatline. This is not your common loadout, but it's something we're seeing more and more. Who would have thought that kind of the energy ammo change of no energy mags now in the latest update for Apex would actually see the Devotion played almost more than it has been, right. and not in the hands of Snipedown, because we know he'll play a Devotion. He's kind of getting known for that. But it is a high-power, high-damage weapon, as well as the Flatline, two of the hurtingest That's not a word, but I want to make it one.
Hey, man, Lulu's making up words.
Guns
You can
in
make
Apex.
up words, too.
Yeah, that's the hurtingest gun in Apex, along with the flatline.
One team I do want to talk about, it's on your screen right now, it's Sentinels. Now, they're making the trek from Sorting. It's a long road, not quite as long as Rogue's road from all the way down from Thermal, but Sentinels is in 4th with 35 points. They only lead RCO White by 2 points. Whereas we might see TSM frag out here, Sentinels has to be pretty careful and actually protect their top 5 placement.
And oh my God, Slurpee here just absolutely getting destroyed. Rocker Apex actually going down as well. That's a big one by Fire. This is a team that seems to be running into each other. That fight is going to determine a lot because Fire goes down now thanks to Lou. These two, remember, fought in the tunnel, and it ended up being Squidward who then won the game. They're now running across each other again and trading casualties and knocks.
And I'm not surprised to see Sentinels just nope straight out of that Cap City battle. There's no reason on the southern side of Cap City to be taking that fight. They just need to continue their rotation up north. Speaking of TSM, a team that's already up north in Skyhook, they've gotten there very quick from their drop at Fuel Depot. Hal will get the wipe there on BCJ.
That's huge. This top 2 teams here are going against each other, and so that means that it's Snipe Down and G-Dolphin most likely. There it is, making a run for it. G-Dolphin lost a few shields, Snipe Down in a decent position in the similar kind of vein of we do not want to fight TSM. We know who it is. We know we're in Skyhook. We have to just survive. If they can grab a banner, there is a respawn, but we'll see if TSM is camping this. It's a bit risky if they do try to go for it.
Very interested to see exactly where this pulls because it's really going to determine just how this plays out. If we have a Skyhook pull, we know what that plays like. Lots of building-to-building combat, very difficult rotations. However, if we do go towards those open spaces, towards the trailers, towards the tracks, it's going to be a very, very different battle. To be honest, not too dissimilar from our game number 1 at Uncharted Territory.
And look at this. TSM is actually trying to bait this box. They know that they are still there. G-Dolphin Snipe Down trying to grab it. Snipe might be the only one who can. He's the Wraith. He's got the invulnerability. He's setting a portal up as well. I don't know. Is he going to do it? I think he's going for it. Look at this. And TSM is waiting for it. They know what they're trying to do, but I don't know if they're going to leave that building. That might have just been the right play. And they can go and find one of these respawn beacons behind them towards the south.
Snipe Down takes it back. Now, keep in mind, if we were not in a game number 5 with our point standings the way they are, this would be a completely different situation, right? How they play this is really going to be dependent on the fact that they are tied with TSM. These two teams at 52 points apiece. They can both afford to play the long game here if they want to put points on the board.
And the problem is, though, for Snipe Down, I like that you got the banner, but you risked a lot. You could have just been completely eliminated there and G-Dolphin on an island. But also, I don't know if you're going to have time to leave that building before it starts to make sense for you to start bunkering up like TSM are doing in the final circle zone. So it's an interesting play. We'll see how that evolves throughout the course of the game as TSM here just content to spray and contest these teams moving in to try to sit in Skyhook with them.
That's right. They're just going to continue to try to poke, especially Team Shoot, whenever they can to pick up a few extra kills along the way, but they are here to play the long game at Skyhook without a doubt in this game number 5. Alternator in the hands of Hal. You know he wants to find a 99 if he can. Wasn't able to do so just yet, but he will be on the prowl for that weapon.
Digi-threat as well, so it's going to give you a little bit of that heat-seeking vision, even though we don't play with a lot of characters right now like Bangalore. Typically where that heat and that thermal vision is necessary, it still does help in an occluded site or in those moments where someone's maybe using a skin to hide in one of those back corners. Here you see P-Fitter, Timmy, and Bronzy trying to make it out of the zone. A late rotation. It's something we saw a lot in the APAC qualifiers.
Yeah, there's a reason that's a late rotation. Yeah. Rain, actually, in the open qualifiers, landing Lava City almost every game. That is actually the single furthest point away from this part of the map. I guess the only
so they get their steps in.
Yeah, I guess the only further thing might be if someone was landing Dome, but they have finally gotten their steps in, as you said. Several teams going down there, though. That's actually going to be Fire going down at the hands of Stinky in the kill feed as well.
Yeah, it's Stinky, so it's Vayne and it's Mooman as well. Finally, having a little bit of life here. They are rocking 8 points. So with a wonder game, a Wunderkind kind of game, you have maybe 24. That puts you at 32. You're still not top 5, but you're close to where RCO is at 33 with the 5th position. It still seems pretty undoable there, but hey, we're not going to give up hope just yet. Anything can happen in these types of games.
Absolutely. Now, keep in mind, if you're just joining us here for game number 5 of the Apex Legends Global Series Online number 1, we are in game number 5, the 5th and final here, where teams really are fighting for those top 5 spots. And do we ever have a very close race for first place as well as the entire top 5? It's Sniper, Abusers, and TSM tied for first with 52 points. Team Squidward at 44, Sentinels at 35, and just 2 points behind them, it's RCO White in 5th with 33 points. But like we said, lots of teams on the heels of that top 5 as well.
Absolutely. And you know, things are going to change here. I almost guarantee the top 5 will shift in this game, because usually that's what happens when you're in tournaments. Unexpected things do occur, even especially towards the end when you feel like you're sitting pretty. Timmy, P-Fitter, Bronzy, they have something to prove here as well. They've been playing so great. Golden Guardians just outside of the top 5, number 8 with 22 points. I would love to see them continue where they're going. Already a kill to their name, most likely 3 to the team, considering that would be a team wipe. And so they are starting off in a pretty strong spot, hearing some shots and deciding to rotate towards the action.
And they know they're late to the party. That's why they're kind of being very selective and disciplined in the way that they enter Skyhook. Right now, choosing to hug the southernmost wall and cliff as they're about to breach and clear. We'll see if they can do this. PKs are out.
And this is what you want. G7 Scout's not going to work, so Bronzy has to just work with these 6 shots, but he's got a purple shotgun bolt, which is going to increase the rechamber rate of the Peacekeeper. And that means you're going to get more shots off, and you're going to get that ammo stacked in and ready to fire again. But that's all you can really use. The G7 is not a close-range weapon, ideally, but we've seen Monsoon tell us differently in some of those amazing
They're just trick-or-treating here. They are going door to door and wondering
whose lights are on.
Right. Where might we be able to go inside? And so far, no lights on, and only Watson fences are really the only lights they're seeing.
I mean, listen, if Watson fences become a thing on Halloween, I'm going to start feeling even sadder for these kids.
No, I'm out.
Yeah,
Count
it's
me
over.
out, man.
It's over.
Not
I'm going
a
to stop
chance.
trigger. At 29, I will stop trick-or-treating. I'm kidding. I stopped trick-or-treating a long time ago. But I did trick-or-treat till I was like 22, I think.
I don't doubt it for a second.
I didn't.
I've seen you in the snack room, man. I've seen you in the snack room.
Okay, you had to get me back here. You had to do it.
Here we go now. Onmu, Lion, and even here, they placed 10th in their semifinal, just squeaking through to secure their spot in the March Major, and they've also secured their spot in Skyhook now with some real estate. You're still seeing pings that are saying teams think they need to get north towards the tracks. That could be our final end circle, certainly one that we've seen in scrims since the January 14th update. We really haven't highlighted it that much, but if you haven't played a ton of Apex Legends during the holidays, first of all, shame on you. What the heck were you thinking? You've missed some amazing limited time modes, but all of that aside, December 3rd had some huge changes to the end circles. So did January 14th, and a lot of teams are still figuring it out. However, we are seeing several pings indicating that we could be going even further north for our final end circle.
And sometimes these pings aren't necessarily where it is. They're conversations between players because they're saying, I think it's going to end here, or I think it's going to end here. Right. Another conversation that could be happening is, we should take this path to rotate. I don't know where the circle is, but we should move here. And then another player might be saying, well, let's take this path instead. Right now, Petty Boss is saying, let's just survive because we're getting shot at as we're trying to rotate. Pop the Phoenix kit as well, which is good.
This is pretty remarkable too, Rain. First of all, because not a lot of people have even been back to these loot bins that seem to always have purples in them, first of all. And I remember months into the game, I was playing with friends who play this game all the time. They're like, I've never seen these supply bins. These have been back here the whole time. There's a lot of interesting little high ground. You can get some pretty crafty zips going on back there. We're already seeing teams setting up all the way north in the furthest northwest corner of the map that once again we rarely see in competitive play.
And look at that. He sees maybe there's a rat out there, wants to maybe get some movement or see if that'll ping anyone. Sitting up top, Sniper's Ridge, Rap, Casellos, and Fade doing a good job of just holding this high ground. There are some clear intonations that there is somebody down below them, but they are not going to leave this ridge by any means necessary. And there it is. You see the rotations. They've got a flat line. We've talked about the damage per bullet, but it's hard. They have a 1x HCOG, and that's not going to do damage from that far.
And this is right here, the FVK side. They actually sat pretty comfortably. They were sitting in 5th coming out of their semifinal, actually just behind TSM, 2 points behind TSM in their semifinal. However, today they are in 20th with only 3 points to their name, and they're just trying to really salvage here in game number 5 to get a little bit of momentum and morale into the March Major.
Yeah, and that's really all you need here. It's just reps. It's just doing things that maybe you didn't try. What happens in the situation in March? I want teams to be thinking about that because you may be in a spot where, yeah, you're not top 5ing, but you need to get qualified for maybe the next round of the tournament like we saw in Poland. And you have to know, how do I go from 18th to 10th? What do we have to do? How aggressive do we have to play? How many of our strategies do we have to shift?
And look at Global Guardians. Actually, they went door to door. They tried out a few buildings, and they said, you know what? We might be better on this ground. Here comes the TP, though. Prum P-Fitter. Let's see exactly where he'll throw this portal exit. Looks like he might be going at the door, the low floor here, and should be able to hit it inside. They will now rotate into the building, which will get them out of the danger zone just in time, as that circle will now close even further in on Skyhook. And this is the first time, again, in competitive play that we're actually seeing a team setting up all the way this far north. Just like our game number 2 in Uncharted Territories, we're seeing some play that you don't always get to see in competitive lobbies.
And it looks like it's going to be on the edge of Skyhook. This is an interesting circle, and sometimes it ends on those far buildings to the left, but you'll have to wait and kind of see on this. You know, some of these circles have been hard to predict for not only casters, but players themselves. And so Petty Boss knows they've got to move no matter what. They see some rotations happening on the south side in front of them as well. So just firing some wingman shots, fully kitted with a heavy extended mag, level 3, and an HCOG.
And this is a great spot for them because you can see in the minimap, like I said, a lot of players haven't spent a lot of time up here. You can actually just double back. They have an entire cave pathway that's going to bring them all the way to that northern side as well. So they don't have to go up over the tracks, but here's Overpowered. Now PK in hand, picks up 2 there, also going to fly in, see if he can get this extra one. Still has half shields. Going to try to fly through and clean up this kill. Dome is down as well.
And this is huge because Benny Boss takes down Rocker Apex with the defensive bombardment, the ultimate from the Gibraltar, and it forces Overpowered inside. The Chaos, though, works for Pro, but that grenade gets destroyed by the Watson interception pylon. OP deciding, does he need to get OP and go outside? And Petty Boss says, let's move in. We've got 1 kill. Can we get another? Shotguns, though, starting to cause chaos.
Burn only hits for a little bit of time. Now going to try to flank around the corner and get the spray with the 99. Shields do break. Look at that shield, though, for himself. He has to get those cells off, as many as he can.
And there it is.
Dome is out again.
And he's got to get the revive off if he can. He doesn't necessarily have time, but he does have time if he tries to go for it. He's fighting inside, and he picks him up. Get up, buddy. The Wraith is back. They still can heal, but it looks like no. It has been cleaned up already. Look at this. Big stuff from Petty Boss. Not in the circle yet, but they win a crucial fight. They've got to loot up quick and start moving.
Gets that fast revive on the roof, then flies right back down. Also able to pick up another teammate. Really great stuff here from Petty Boss as things will get even thinner. And what we're now going to see, Rain, is a lot of teams having to force out of their Skyhook buildings and north. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for some free kills for anyone who has anything like scouts who are looking at that transition.
Oh, and this is Rogue. They know exactly what happened. They know Petty Boss and that squad have to move. Yes, they took down PRO, which is huge point-wise. It takes somebody out of the top 7 situation, top 9, excuse me, PRO. And so that means they will not be qualifying top 5 most likely. And it means Rogue is in an even better position.
Look at Sentinels in the feed going down to GG. We'll have to see exactly if they get knocked. Not just yet. GG actually goes down as well, so we will keep an eye on that. I believe Zoms also goes down. We don't see bleed outs just yet, so we're going to keep an eye on the kill feed for Sentinels, but now back on board with TSM here. Not in the best spot, but they do have a good bit of cover on both sides.
RCO White still alive as well, holding that top 5. They'll probably move up beyond Sentinels if that truly is a Sentinels wipe, but TSM, Hal, and the rest of the boys eager and ready to continue dominating. They have wanted first place ever since this tournament started. They're not satisfied with anything else.
Yep.
And it seems like they're playing just like they need to in order to make that a reality.
You heard Lulu talk about it. They're going to frag out in this game. Speaking of first place, a team that's tied with TSM, that's going to be the Sniper Abusers, and it's only Snipe down here who has to make a miracle play if he wants to end this tournament in first place for his team. Might try to make a move on G Dolphin. We already have a timed out respawn on BCJ, who we saw go down earlier.
And I just doubt it. I just doubt it. They may, because that's what they did earlier, but they weren't able to get BCJ. And unfortunately, this is just TSM heaven. This is where they want to be. They're fenced up. They're pyloned up. All 3 alive, all 3 well and confident, top 10, and in first place.
And you actually see pings out on their minimap indicating that they wanted to hold this spot. You can tell they've been here before. Really great fencing, really great low angles here. They're able to just engage and disengage as much as they please. They have one of the best spots on the map right now. Keep in mind, we do still have Rogue on the northern side of the tracks. Rogue is a story we have to keep paying attention to because they're in 7th with 29 points, only about 4 away from 5th place. So they are a team that wants to break into that top 5. So is Little Poggies.
And Little Poggies, we haven't seen much of them earlier, but a big shot from PvP. Geesh and Nasky, that squad is still alive in the top 8, and they are looking to rotate as the circle starts to close in round 5. The damage will be very significant here if you can't move in, Brav. And they're trying to just find themselves in a decent spot. I think Snipe Down is still alive, though, so that still means the top 2 teams are alive.
Shots coming in here for TSM, and you have to wonder if Snipe Down knows that TSM's down here. He could try to intervene in some capacity. That's definitely a Hail Mary opportunity for him.
Got him.
Yep, Snipe Down actually will go down, like you said. Great call, Rain, to the hands of Snipe Down, to the hands of Rogue as we take a look here. Hal picks up another kill on Hill.
And this is Line as well. Vol, they're doing a great job, and Vayne is still alive, gets the heal off, so the battery will save him now, but Rogue are in a great position. They need to move in, and they know this is the game. They can do it. Already with a few kills, and already with only 1 point away, 4 points away from top 5. It seems like they can, but Hal gets low, is forced into the void, and when he comes out, we don't know what's waiting for him.
And he actually goes down here. Let's see what can happen for Reps
It's
and
Rogue.
Aberlele, but instead, look at Rogue flying in here. They look great on this push. They're going to take out the ult as well.
And that's TSM probably dropping, but it seems like they will for sure have secured first place unless Rogue has an incredible game. They were 33 points behind, but I don't think they can make that much headway to take number 1. But number 5, I think, is very much in their future.
Absolutely. Aberlele trying to stay alive along with Reps. Both now bleeding heavily. They both need to shield up. We'll see if they're going to be able to do that. Shots still coming in, and they do not have much space to work with at all.
Things are getting intense here. Aberlele and Reps trying to hold on. 30 seconds till the next circle as well. Rogue drop finds 1 mini, and TSM Hal bleeds out, so dropped really finishing off Team Smile. Aberlele with a grapple goes in, but he's down. It looks like Rogue, Vayne, and Lion are still competing. It's 2 squads left. It's Rogue versus Vol. Who's going to take it?
Let's see now at Vol in a hard spot. They've already lost on. That's another player down. Now just Neven. Can he get this out? Rogue is going to collapse and fly in. Yes, indeed. Rogue wins your game number 5 and almost certainly secures themselves a top 5 finish.
That is huge. In game 5, securing top 5. I had mentioned it in my predictions that I thought Rogue was going to be the team to watch today. They're so consistent, but when they get in those moments, they have the veteranship and the execution ability. Mechanical monsters, and they honestly play that from the edge so well, usurping and taking away TSM's spot, which looked pretty good towards that final circle.
It did. Like you said, we can almost be certain that TSM is going to take first in the back-to-back. I'm going to lose count.
Back-to-back. We just got to start multiplying now.
Yeah, it's 4 tournaments in a row that they've won unofficially. We're going to have to wait till the leaderboard does display that. However, you have to bet based on the math that TSM will win that tournament. But Rogue, they continue to prove that they are not only on the upswing, but they are a different team than we saw in 2019. I think we saw a lot of promise from them last year in Poland and Sweden, but now they're proving that they can close out games, and they're here to have a really big performance in the ALGS.
And I was just impressed all around from Rogue and the way that they managed that fight. Not only that, but at the edge, when we saw Petty Bosch push into that house, take down PRO with RKN and overpowered, and then they just patiently waited. They said, let's clean that up on their rotation and just let's not even get involved in that first initial fight, which is the type of thing that you don't feel is a great play, but when you look back at it, how they got themselves in that position, that was a great play. Knowing how to fight is one thing. Knowing when not to fight is something not every team has, and Rogue seems to have it.
Absolutely. And speaking of another team that knows how to disengage and engage exactly at the right times, it's TSM. They did not look like they had anything guaranteed going into this full set.
Yeah.
But in the end, they somehow squeak it out. And it's, once again, how do you bet against this team?
What the heck?
As soon as you have, not only did they perform yesterday in the Open so well across all 3 game sets and make it into our finals, but today, what a performance from them once again.
And I think this is the mentality that I look up to in sports and competing and in my career, and the athletes I've always aspired to be, the ones who don't take no for an answer. They don't take second as a good performance. They want to win, or they want to figure out why not and win next time. And that's what TSM are proving. They are the greatest in the world right now. You cannot bet against them until they mess up.
And let's also ask, we don't know exactly where Sentinels is going to end up. We saw them exit around top 5, top 6. They were, I believe, 4th.
They were.
And that we know they needed a big game there, and they were kind of a team. Instead of you have TSM who was looking to frag out, like Lulu said, they did exactly that.
Yeah.
Sentinels was more so like, let's make sure we have a pretty normal game and secure top 5. We don't yet know if they did that.
And I honestly feel that Sentinels are in a pretty decent spot. RCO White also as well, because you did see Lil Poggers. You also saw PRO. You saw Fire not really have any of those big games and exiting early. The only team that might have had a bit of a comeback was Vol, but because they were only 12 points, I don't think they had enough to really push anybody out of the top 5. So I think it's pretty consistent. Every team pretty much did what they needed to do to stay in there, except Rogue definitely pushed somebody down a spot.
Yeah, we're going to go find out exactly how those final results will net out now with our analysts here. Let's head on over to Fallout, Lulu, and Blaze to get those results after game number 5.
Thank you so much, Bravo, and welcome for the very last time to the Legends Lounge, where we had a crazy Game 5 to close things out. Lulu's sitting pretty and fine with her TSM prediction. You feel like they have to take it, right?
I mean, known it from, game one. And I literally said they're not going to settle for second. They're going to take that first spot, and I'm pretty sure they did.
With a third place finish right there, they were tied for.
It's looking good.
It is.
But I know you disagree with a little something.
Hey, I love the duo up there. Shout out to their casting on that matchup. Now, Rain said he thinks Sentinels may be okay. I think Sentinels falls out the top 5. Now, I could be wrong, but I predicted the RCO was going to stay, TSM was going to get first. RCO got 5th place. Sentinels dropped a little bit earlier, but Rogue had such a good game. I think it comes down between them and Sentinels for that 5th spot. Rogue may make it in because they were at the 7th place mark. So we'll see when the standings come out. But, so far it was a spicy ending, and Rogue did what they needed to do. Let's see if it was enough.
Yeah, you just saw the Rogue team comp on screen right there. Rogue clutches up when it matters the most. Game 5, you hear Bravo saying this is a different Rogue than we've seen on past lands at the preseason invitational and previously. They stepped up in a huge way right there. So shout out to Huskers and the boys for a great performance there in game number 5. You got to wonder, does Rogue replace Sentinels? Does Lulu's prediction of 2 teams being known, 3 teams being unknown stand true?
I think we made some good predictions today. We might hit the nail on the head.
Undoubtedly. Let's take a look at the end game there and the replays from game number 5 and how things exactly broke down. Of course, it was Rogue against a squad, VOL, who have 2 members, by the way, Blaze, from Illinois and Indiana that stepped up in a big way. But let's take a look.
Oh, snaps. I was going to say this was a dope 1v1. I don't know if this is it, but it was a situation in which Rogue was getting some revives and they were getting flanked by one of these players, and they had to turn around and win a clutch 1v1 while one of the teammates was reviving.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity right there for Rogue. So not only did they get first place, but they picked up a lot of kills as well. So you got to think that puts them in a pretty good spot. In this situation, they were playing with a lot of aggression to close that one out. They're going up against that squad I was just talking about, VOL, Lion and Co., coming from Illinois, Indiana, and Florida, who performed really well in game 5. You got to wonder, was it enough?
That's really the hometown right there.
It is the hometown.
Shout out to them.
But ultimately, they did get taken out by Rogue, who was able to clutch it up. All 3 members of Rogue alive. They did it in a clean way. They did it in a crisp way. But the question is, was it enough?
I think they're going to be in
good
there.
About it.
I think they kicked Sentinels out, and I think RCO did just enough.
You think RCO stays 5th?
I think RCO stays 5th. I think they did just enough to stay there.
Crazy. Hey, 5th place is the same thing as 1st place. Well, guess what? We got the standings ready to see who's going to have their trips paid for.
Yo, I told you!
Stays.
They kicked them out right at the end.
No.
Can you believe it? We got a round of applause from Bravo and Rain over here. TSM takes 1st place. Sniper Abusers right behind them. Team Squidward, the wild card, who we all felt was going to do great, performs. And Rogue sneaks in to the top 5.
Wow. And you know what? You can't.
I was kind of.
You were right.
2 known teams.
2 signed known teams. 3 teams. RCO is a signed and kind of known teams. Not many people thought Gabe got picked up by that squad last minute. So I just want to talk about my man Gabe real quick.
Big shout out.
Gets dropped from Complexity a couple days ago. Leaves Complexity. Whatever happened there, it's got to feel good to be top 5 right now.
Definitely.
With Complexity watching at home, by the way.
And I've been giving him love since I got here on the couch. I've enjoyed watching him as a player, and I've enjoyed his story coming into this event, and he got it done. The guy works hard for everything that he gets, and you see it right then and there. He got it done for the team. RCO made it into the top 5 to get that travel paid for, and we're gonna have 5 awesome teams going to that major, and 20 awesome teams, the whole lobby, right? 20 great teams from North America going.
Undoubtedly. And of course, we're gonna have some teams from other regions as well. Shout out to EU and APAC watching and supporting. Of course, it's been a crazy day of action. Our top 5 teams are set. Congratulations to each and every one of them. Let's go ahead and break down our top 5 MAC plays from the day and moments from the day. And number 5 here was the Sniper Abusers, wiping the full last squad, G Dolphin, Snipe Down, and BCJ. The 2 Americans and 1 European with some great scout plays and support. The aggression came in from Snipe Down and Wraith, and they do it in the number 5 play. And moving on to number 4, it's Rocker, Apex, and Team Squidward with some amazing scout shots from top. Nothing but headshots right there as he just absolutely melts. Beautiful plays coming in from Rocker of Team Squidward. They, of course, also punched themselves a ticket. Moving on to number 3, we got PRO-RKN. They did not qualify, but at least he made it to the top 5 here. RKN with some beautiful wingman plays on the zip line. That was TSM going for a miracle zip line that did not pay off. Of course, Imperial Hal stayed alive there, barely, but it was RKN with some great shots on TSM.
Apex or Duck Hunt?
Right? That's what I'm wondering. Peekaboo right there. Number 2 is Retzi with a great tunnel clutch play. This is a tight 2v2, and by the way, this is the game, Blaze, that brought Sentinels into top 5.
Nah, it really was. Such a beautiful play. Fallout Peacekeeper goalkeeper comes out. 1v2 situation, 108, teammate support in the back, teammate banner recover, hops on the wall, tries to go for a fadeaway shot as well. He thought about it but said, you know what, I got one bullet in the clip, not reloading, R99, get out of here.
That's like a KD fadeaway right there. Of course, they're not going to connect on that, but they did connect for the kill. And of course, number one, Team Squidward, our top 5 qualifying team with the ArcStar play that connected beautifully. We thought they were crazy for not third-partying earlier. They had a trick up their sleeves, a perfectly executed ArcStar play from Team Squidward.
Absolutely beautiful. I think it hit all 3 of them, too.
It did, and it also gets them stunned as well.
Yeah.
So that could not have been a more perfect
And
play.
it also put them in the top 3.
Yeah, that was the game that did it. That was the game that they did it. Congratulations to Lou, Rocker, and Nathan for qualifying. Who would have thought we'd see Sentinels not make it? Rogue sneaks their way in. I think we all saw TSM coming out on top.
Of course.
Didn't we?
The 4-time, I was going to say unofficially, but now officially the 4-time tournament winners in a row. And the question is, who can stop these boys? Because so far they make it look easy.
And what is it when you play with them often? What is it that makes them so great?
Well, they're all so individually gifted and talented, and Hal's knowledge and his game sense, and you should see he has like this video about his like inventory organization. He is on top of the ball and everything, and all 3 of them, they're there to win. Yep. None of them are going to settle for second. Yeah. And just with that individual skill and how they work together, they're unstoppable.
Can't be beat. They say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Well, guess what? They got talent and they got hard work. I know Rep's the captain of this squad. I am so incredibly impressed by this individual each and every conversation I have. It was a dream of his to join TSM. Now that he's on TSM, he's going to cherish that moment. He's not letting go of the gas pedal blade.
Nah, you know what? And it's such a beautiful thing when you can find 2 other guys who are on the same page as you, who want to work just as hard as you, want to get in, put the practice in, get into those scrims, come out to the event, take it serious, and make some money. Yeah. You got to love it. And win some championships. Those boys got a few for TSM.
A couple under their belt. A couple. But some people said, we were talking in the green room, Lulu, that some of their wins, it was kind of good, but it was kind of lucky. Is there any doubt in your mind that they are the best team in Apex? Not even question?
I don't think it's a question. I
Can't deny it.
It's consistency.
It is. And like you can say that they've had some lucky happenings, but I mean, they're the clutches. I mean, Hal's clutch during GLL and at Poland. It's insane.
Yeah, my question for any TSM haters out there, I know EU likes to support LG and VP and a lot of these top teams in EU, but you can't deny the back-to-back-to-back-to-back. I'm sorry. Placements and facts prove themselves. And guess what? We got the man himself. It's Imperial Hal from TSM live for an interview with us today in studio. Hal, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you guys doing?
Good. Another one, man. Is it just, at this point, is it just clockwork? Is it not even exciting anymore? Talk to me.
I don't know. It feels the same. Obviously, I think it's after every single win, there's less excitement, but we always have doubt. We always have doubt after or before a tournament, because especially the last group 4, we got 4th place. So obviously everyone wants to see us, get first. Yeah. But I was like, it's 3 games. It's fine. They're going to be 5 games in the finals. We'll win.
So you're telling me you were mad about a 4th place finish in a top 10 qualifying game. That was not good enough for you guys.
Well, I was mad, but other people were also mad. Obviously we had other people had expectations, high expectations, but I knew we were gonna, do what we had to do in the finals.
Hal, this is Blaze here. Quick question for you. Out of those 5 matches in the finals, was it any team that surprised you guys and was just a little bit tougher than the rest?
I think Snipedowns really surprised me. I know their team is really good. They actually picked up Dolphin off of me.
Yeah, I remember that.
I actually gave him the insight to pick up Dolphin, so I'm really,
Look at you scouting out here.
Well.
So what you're saying is you created your biggest opponent now. How do you feel about
that? I guess, yeah.
Out here fathering players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only surprise is Snipedown. They did really well, and I'm glad.
Yeah, we got Imperial Hal, aka Father Hal. Hal, we also got Lulu, your good friend here. Lulu, you have any questions or words for Hal?
I mean, I predicted it. I literally said when they were in second and tied that they're not going to settle for second, that they were going to get first. So, I mean, I've been rooting for TSM since game 1. So.
Smart analyst we got here on the couch.
Yeah, clearly we picked the right one here, Hal, don't you think? He's like, as long as you keep putting us in first place, that's for sure. Well, Hal, look, congratulations to you guys. I know we call it the back-to-back now. It was an online tournament. You guys got a lot of work to do at the major, so best of luck in preparation. My last question for you, what type of preparation are you going to do going into that major?
I think probably to practice more different spots, because we usually when we play scrims, we always do the same thing. We always go to the same spot, et cetera, et cetera. So, we want to change, or actually broaden how many spots we can play, not just one spot. So if we can't get that one spot, we can still play another one or a third one. So we always have, extra spots to play from instead of just in scrims practicing the same thing over and over and over. And
I love that. Have a couple strats in the strat book, especially with a lot of teams that are dropping on you that you don't expect from playing in pro lobbies. That's a great call out, man. Well, best of luck to you guys. Congratulations again on yet another win. You guys are proving to be one of the best dynasties in modern day history of esports. Hopefully you can keep it up, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Thanks so much, man. What a tournament it's been. And I got to say, what a year it has been. It is almost a year of Apex Legends. It's hard to believe. It's been an amazing year.
A good one.
And of course, in your eyes, what has stood out the most in this past year, Blaze?
Oh man, what has stood out the most? I'm gonna say it. TSM's dynasty. You come out here in a BR to be that consistent is something that's very difficult. And we heard him talk in an interview. Hey, we want to go master 3-4 different locations just so we can have that consistency in case we find ourselves in a lobby with a group of players that we're not normally familiar with. You got to be able to just appreciate, their hard work, their work ethic, what they've done, their camaraderie, and just out here being great and just being great, being at the top for the community.
Yeah, great to hear that insight. But of course, Apex changed your life. Apex changed a lot of lives. A big thank you to the entire community. We actually have a special tribute. Let's take a look at the past year of Apex Legends.
What's up? Hot like a hurricane, mind sharp like a razor blade. I'm a knockout. There's no oh my God! They don't see me! They don't see me!
Exciting. X Games Minneapolis 2019.
Anyone else still in position to be taken down? Swan is just going for a kill here. Can he get the shot? Are you kidding?
Best multiplayer game.
Apex Legends. Thank you. I love you guys.
It's party time.
Always watching.
The best multiplayer game of 2019 has changed a lot of lives.
So much feeling.
Oh,
He was getting a little emotional.
I remember my first drop on Kings Canyon, baby.
Where'd you drop? Do you remember where you dropped?
Market. Okay, I am the chef. I was in Market locking it down, baby.
Chef Blaze. Thank you so much to the entire Apex community for an amazing year. We've traveled to some unbelievable places. 75 million players have been impacted or touched by Apex Legends, and one that has had a huge impact on your life, Lulu. You've been streaming for 3 years. This past year, you've taken off.
Yeah, honestly, just with Apex is where I really found my home. And since then, so much has happened for me personally, but I've also seen it change so many other of my fellow streamers. It's a lot of pro players, a lot of people got picked up. This is the beginning of their career. So much has happened. It's beautiful. I love it.
It's an emotional moment. Well, guess what? This is just the beginning. We had the preseason invitational. We got the ALGS first season. And we also got a little something called Season 4, Assimilation.
So excited.
A little video got announced today that blew my mind, blew everyone's minds.
Yeah.
Of course, February 4th, Assimilation is coming. Are you guys excited for that?
Oh, man, I'm definitely excited for it, yo. I need to get Predator this season. I got up to Diamond, and I'm just like, I can't do it in 12 more days. So next season, that's going to be the grind, so I'm ready for it.
Season 4, the season of Blaze. I just hope Force becomes a thing now that he's kind of dead. I have no idea what's happening.
Is he, John?
Is he, though, is the big question.
I don't know. Everyone's kind of looking for clues, and, you can go loot his loot box.
In the game?
Yes.
That is nuts.
Sorting factory.
That is nuts.
You get a little limited time charm from there, too.
It's crazy. The Apex design team, the game team, the story team has been unbelievable. And guess what? We have an amazing crew here as well. So a big thank you to our entire crew live in the studio. Hopefully none of us get assassinated like Force did. But regardless, thank you all so much for an amazing show here in the studio. And thank you, each and every one of you in the audience and in the stream watching and supporting the growth of competitive Apex. This is just the beginning. We have the entire Apex Legends Global Series season ahead of us, and it is going to be an amazing time. Fallout here on behalf of myself, Lulu, and Blaze signing off, and we will see you next time for the Apex Legends Global Series.